Good evening. The Planning Commission meeting of May 15, 2024 is called to order. The Planning Commission meeting is being broadcasted live on Glendale TV, on Spectrum Cable, Channel 6 and AT&T U-verse, and Channel 99. Meetings are also streamed live in high definition on the city's website, glendaleca.gov/live, on youtube.com/myglendale, and on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire devices using a free app called Cablecast and choosing Glendale TV from the menu. Meetings are also archived on the city's website for viewing anytime at glendaleca.gov/agendas. For public comments and questions during the meeting, please call 818-937-8100. City staff will be submitting the questions and comments in real time to the appropriate person. Current Planning Commission agendas are available by visiting our website at www.glendaleca.gov. Can we please have the roll call?
Sure.
Thank you.
Commission Member Tarakchian.
Here.
Commission Member Fuentes.
Here.
Commission Member Lee. Absent. Commission Member Manassian.
Here.
And Chair Shabazian.
Here. Can we please have the report regarding posting of the agenda?
The agenda for the May 15th, 2024 regular meeting of the Glendale Planning Commission was posted on May 10th, 2024 on the bulletin board outside of City Hall.
And approval of meeting minutes from May 1st. Do we have a motion?
I'll move.
I'll second it.
Great. I don't think we
He
need,
was not here.
yeah, you were not
I was
here.
absent.
Yes, but I don't think we need a second, and I don't think we need a roll call for that, yes.
That's good.
Thank you for that. Thanks for the reminder. I don't see any oral communications that are not related to an item on the agenda today. And the next item on the agenda is board and commission member comments. Any comments from commission members?
Just really quickly, I want to thank everyone for coming today. It's rare that we get a crowd like this, but we appreciate you guys caring about the community enough to show up to our meeting, so thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments? None? We don't have any old businesses, and the new business, item A, is 444 Lowell Avenue, and it is a variance case, it's variance case number PVAR 001880-2023. Can we please have the presentation from staff? Thank you.
All right. Good afternoon, Planning Commissioners. The applicant is requesting approval of a use variance to allow the continued operation of Shamlin Armenian School located at 4444 Lowell Avenue. The school is located between, it's on the east side of Lowell Avenue between Abella and Foothill Boulevard. The subject site is approximately 4.6 acres and has 330 feet of frontage on Lowell. The campus includes administration and multi-purpose buildings, a gym, a dining hall, classrooms, and surface parking. No changes in operation or enrollment are proposed with this application. The subject site is zoned R1, which is a low-density residential zone. Private schools are not a permitted use in this zone. On April 16, 2014, the Planning Commission approved a use variance for the operation of the school. This approval expired on April 16th, 2024, which is why you are hearing this tonight. The previous use variance has expired. All right. I was going to keep my presentation as condensed as possible. The next slide is a location map showing the location of the school, which is outlined in red. Lowell Avenue is immediately left, sort of in the left center of the slide. Foothill Boulevard is in the upper portion of the slide. This site plan is from Google and shows the development of the site. Lowell Avenue is in the far left side of the slide. There have been a number of approvals for this school over the years. The staff report reviews all of these approvals in more detail. I'm just going to go over briefly sort of a synopsis of what's happened over the last 60 or so years. The subject site opened as Lowell Avenue School, which was a public school in the early 1960s. The school was closed, the site was sold, and Chandelier School opened in 1983. And it opened with approval of a conditional use permit. A conditional use permit, again, was granted in 1984 to allow the school to expand. And in 1991, due to non-compliance with some conditions of approval, a revocation hearing was heard regarding the conditional use permit. The school was allowed to continue its operation. In 1992, a use and standards variance were partially approved to allow the school to expand without providing parking. Approval of several discretionary applications to allow the school to continue operating were approved in 1997 and 2008. And then in 2011, the Planning Commission denied the use and standards variance and a parking reduction permit request related to Chamlein's desire to build a gym at the school. So previous to 2011, there was no gym. So these decisions were overturned by the City Council and Planning Hearing Officer later in 2011. City Council and the Planning Hearing Officer approved the construction of the gym. In 2012, the Design Review Board denied the design approval of the gym. This denial was also later overturned by the City Council. In 2014, the Planning Commission approved a use variance to allow the expansion of the school. This expansion allowed from 500 students to 700 students max. This approval recently expired and is the reason why the present use variance application before you this evening. The next couple slides are pictures from the area. This is the front of the school looking east from Lowell Avenue. And these are, as you can maybe see from Google. This is also the front of the school looking southeast. Front of the school looking northeast. And then this is adjacent to the school looking south on Lowell, so directly south. You can see the school sort of in the left part of the slide. And this is a photo looking north at the Abella Lowell intersection. You can't see the school here. There are 4 findings that need to be met in order to grant the proposed variance. They're summarized right here. I'll just read them real quick. The first finding is the strict application of the provisions of any such ordinance would result in practical difficulties or unnecessary hardship inconsistent with the general purposes and intent of the ordinance. The second finding is there are exceptional circumstances or conditions applicable to the property involved or to the intended use or development of the property that do not generally apply to other property in the same zone or neighborhood. The third finding is the granting of the variance will not be materially detrimental to the public welfare or injurious to the property or improvements in such zone or neighborhood in which the property is located. And then finally, the granting of the variance will not be contrary to the objectives of the ordinance. Staff believes that the findings can be made to grant the requested use variance. The subject site has been a school for over 60 years, first as a public school, and then in 1983 as Shamlian Armenian School. The current variance is to continue the use of the school, continue the use of the site as a school. There's no increase in enrollment. There's no change in operation proposed as a result of this. This is simply the previous use variance has expired. They need to re-up. Shamlian School is an important facility within the city of Glendale. The size and the topography of the site allow it to operate as a school with fewer impacts to the surrounding community. Lowell Avenue, which is considered a minor arterial street in the circulation element, can accommodate approximately up to 30,000 vehicle trips per day. Roughly, Lowell Avenue accommodates just over half of that amount. Because no changes in school enrollment or operation are requested, no additional trips will be created related to the present condition. Sorry, I should have turned the slide earlier. Schools present amenities and challenges to the neighborhood that they surround. Shamlian School has not fully implemented several conditions of their previous variance and will need to redouble their efforts to comply with new and amended conditions of approval, such that detrimental impacts related to their operation are reduced. Thank you. So, grades taught at Shamlian as conditioned include kindergarten through 8th grade. Currently, the school is operating transitional kindergarten classes, which is a relatively new grade. It's a grade before kindergarten. Staff doesn't have concerns related to including this grade as long as the overall cap of 700 students is not exceeded. Condition number 4 states that the number of students enrolled in 8th grade shall not exceed the number of students enrolled in 7th grade. Restrictions on limiting enrollment of 7th and 8th grade students has occurred since the inception of the school. Staff doesn't know the genesis of this condition and just recommends eliminating it. I'm not sure why it was required that the 7th grade class be bigger than the 8th grade class. So. A current condition of approval requires a carpool incentive at the school of at least $50 per month. The school currently offers $40. To provide additional incentive for carpooling at the school and reduce traffic impacts, staff is proposing that this incentive be increased to $75, and that's reflected in the motion. There is a condition in the current use variance that stipulates start and end times, lunch times, and recess times for students at the school. Staff is suggesting modifications to this condition, allowing for less specificity in terms of times, while maintaining that a minimum of at least 30 minutes occur between the range of beginning start times and ending start times and of the various grades. So, I mean, currently it's very specific as to when, let's just say, kindergarten and first grade start their day. Where staff is recommending eliminating those specificities, but saying, okay, if kindergarten starts at 8, the last start time needs to be at least 8:30, so that there's a range of times where classes start and sort of flattens out peak times. Let's see. Shumlin School was to provide free shuttle service to students to offset trips as a condition of approval. There are 2 such services located or operating in association with the school. However, these services are currently not operating free of charge. There's an additional charge for students that take advantage of that. Staff periodically receives complaints from area residents regarding quality of life issues. To help address these issues, staff is recommending, and this would be a new condition, that the school designate an employee as a point person, or that they establish an email address where neighborhood residents could contact either the person or the email when a concern arises, so that they have kind of a direct contact person or email. Also, as a new condition, staff is suggesting that the school document their drop-off procedures at the school. This is something I didn't really talk about in the staff report. I was reading over it, and there is a condition on sort of pickup procedures and how that's done, but there really wasn't one on drop-off procedures. And I know they have one. I was out there a week and a half ago. So a condition that sort of documents, here's how we're going to run drop-off at the school. And that would include the number of security guards that they have and their locations. They also have staff and parent assistants that help escorting kids from cars to the inside of the campus. Currently they have orange cones within Lowell Avenue that serve as sort of a parking lane within the street. So those sorts of things that document, here's how drop-off will run at Shumlin. Fully implementing these conditions of approval will ensure operation of the school is smooth and detrimental impacts related to it will be minimized. So that concludes my presentation. I can go back through the slides if you'd like, or if you have any questions, I can answer them.
Thank you for the presentation. Commissioners, if you have any questions for clarification, I think we can do that now. Then we can open public hearing and then go back to staff for more detailed questions. Any questions?
Later.
All right. Any questions from you guys? All right, so with that, let's open the public hearing period. And the first card I have, which would be the applicant, you have 5 minutes. Hello.
I'm sorry, let me quickly interject. We received a number of public comments, most of which you received in your packet. There are some ones that came in relatively recently that occurred after the packet came out, so just to let you know.
Yes. Actually, before we start, so that was attachment D on the package, and we received a package with some emails right now. And for everyone who is planning to speak, please fill out a card and either hand it to staff or ourselves. Audience members who want to speak, you'll have 2 minutes to convey your message to Planning Commission. And you, as the applicants, have 5 minutes. And please, and I think staff will be having the timer going. Yes. I think there's a comment.
Yes, thank you, members of the commission. I just want to make sure that the documents that were received after the packet was published are available for the members of the public here.
They are. There were copies at the desk.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, staff. Hello, and thank you.
Good evening, Madam Chair, commissioners, staff, and members from the Shumlin community. My name is Rodney Kahn, and my offices are located here in the city of Glendale. The Shumlin Armenian School is an outstanding educational institution in our city. It is professionally operated with dedicated students, parents, teachers, and administrators. It is a very desirable school to educate our children at, and there is a need for quality private educational institutions in our community. As staff mentioned, our request is to renew the previous approval. The previous approval had a term of 10 years, and that's why we're here today. Same number of children, same hours of operation, days of the week, the same buildings on the campus. As mentioned, we are looking at transitional kindergarten through 8th grade with a school enrollment that is limited to a maximum of 700 students. The academic departments include reading and language arts, social studies, math, science, art and music, physical education, technology, and Armenian studies. There are athletics consisting primarily of basketball, soccer, and volleyball. There's also after-school enrichment activities, such as for chess, Spanish, art, and study hall. Shamlian Armenian School is a fully accredited school by the Western Association of Schools and Colleges. As part of Mr. Kiesel's presentation, he gave a little bit of history about the site and the school. So back in 1960, it was a public school, and then it was sold to Shamlian. It became a private school. If it remained as a public school, we would not be here this evening. We would require no discretionary approvals. We would require no conditions that we would need to follow or not. It would simply operate without any city limitations. Over the past few years, the COVID-19 pandemic significantly impacted the operation of schools everywhere. If you recall, back in 2020, schools were closed down. They were shut down. And if you refer to your staff report, there's a detailed explanation on page 9 of your report that talks about Shamlian's experience. Basically, for a good 3+ years, Shamlian was either closed, operating remotely, or within significantly reduced in-person schooling. As a result of the COVID virus, there is greater emphasis on personal health, social distancing, and mental health, which the school has planned for the children. As part of our preparation for this public hearing, we brought on traffic engineers. We brought on John Bogdanian and Associates to analyze and evaluate our drop-off and our pickup procedures for school and any suggested improvements they have. Because we know, just like at any school, public or private, pickup and drop-off times are very challenging. It gets chaotic at times. We have him making his observation and his analysis. But what I will say, as my analysis and observation, is that Shamlian Armenian School does the best job of any school, public or private, with the pickup and with the drop-off. Mr. Kiesel went through the findings in terms of needing to be made for this use variance to be approved. Those findings of fact were the same previous approvals that the Planning Commission back in 2014 used. It's still relevant today, and it's still applicable to what we are asking for. Based on time, I'll narrow my presentation down, but there are, at the appropriate time, I would like to visit or revisit some of the conditions that are being proposed at this time, because I think we have some conditions of our own that we think are going to be more or better improvements that will make a meaningful impact on the traffic for the school and the surrounding areas that are not part of these conditions. I'll conclude my remarks on that. If you have questions, I'd be happy to answer them, and then I'll step aside. I don't know what order you have this in, but next was going to be the principal of Shamlian that would like to speak.
Okay.
Thank you.
Before you leave, commissioners, do you have any questions for Mr. Khan? Yes, please
Sorry,
go
I
ahead.
have one question. You mentioned about the traffic study. And the report says that it hasn't been done because of the COVID issues. Is it something that is in process? It will be done soon?
The traffic study will be done. It has not been done, but what we did was we did traffic analysis. How do we make improvements to that area? And that's what Mr. Bagdanian will speak to as part of his presentation.
Did you have a question? I do have a question before we move on. You did mention that there's some proposals on conditions. I think it'll be great to hear them actually before we start hearing the public comments. And then, we'll kind of have an idea of what it is that the school is working
Sure.
with the city.
So there are actually two different conditions that are being proposed that I would ask the commission consider or reconsider. The first one is condition number 27. And that talks about that the approval for this grant would be valid until April 16th, 2034. So another 10-year term. There have been a number of use variances granted throughout the city of Glendale where there is no term imposed on them. And we would like that same consideration. I think a term limit of that amount of time is not beneficial. I think that we've proven ourselves, and I think we should have no term limit. That's the first one. The second one is item or condition number 22. And that specifically deals with the buses that are being provided, or buses or shuttles that the school is providing. We looked at the buses and we looked at the best use of resources for the school. The buses and the shuttles have very few students using them. It is a very large expense to have those buses running with very few students. We'd like to take that money and we'd like to allocate it elsewhere. Elsewhere being providing more incentives for carpooling and van pooling. We think that that would be very productive. We also think there's some other traffic type improvements we could use that money on far better than just doing the buses that are primarily not occupied.
Curious to know how many buses are currently operating and what's the schedule? Do you have that information?
I would defer to our traffic engineer or to the principal. But
Okay.
right now, I know that we have one bus and one shuttle that's being operated.
And that's during a specific hour in the day, or is it throughout the day?
No, I think it's in the morning for pickups and drop-offs, for drop-offs, and then in the afternoons for pickups.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I think, I don't have this in order, but let's do it in order. We'll ask the traffic engineer to step forward, please. You probably have, your card is probably here, and I'll look for
Yes.
it.
I will introduce myself. My name is John Bagdanian with JV & Associates, and we have been working with the Shamlian School in the last several years in order to address the traffic operational issues, the drop-off pickup, looking at what are the things can be done in order to improve the operation, make it safer, more efficient. I have a slide presentation. I think, Roger, if you could skip through the first slides, because those were going to be used by Rodney, and go down to the first slide that shows an aerial photo. Appreciate that. If I may turn around, because I need to guide Roger.
Please go
on this.
ahead.
Thank you. So again, Roger already mentioned where the location of the school is. It's on Lowell Avenue. Next slide. And this is more of a close-up of the Lowell Avenue. The only thing I want to mention here is, like any other public school, this school also has only one side of the school has vehicular access. And there are some others that have access because they're at the four corners of an intersection, but they don't have vehicular access. So the only vehicular access for this school is from a circular driveway. It has two driveways, one you enter and one you exit. I'm going to have some photos for that. And there's only a pedestrian access on the east side of the school off of the 2nd Street and Boston Avenue. So some parents that they drop off or pick up on Boston, they're able to walk through the gate at the end of the school. It's open only school hours, drop off, pick up hours. And that's the only thing. Next slide, please. This is the main entry to the school, has a circular driveway, has double lanes. There's always a security guard that manages that driveway, the entry in the morning. And then next slide. And this is the exit to that. So cars coming in, they drop off in the morning, they exit, make a right turn and go toward Foothill Boulevard. Next. In the mornings, they set up these cones similar to other public schools where parents can come in. Either they go into the drive-through lane, basically the driveway, or they can drop off at the curbside. Next. There's always a security guard during all days of operation in the drop-off morning, in the afternoon. Either they're at the entry driveway or the exit driveway. They also have a security guards, which I'll show you, that are in the driveway itself. Next. Here's just a typical drop-off. This is a little early in the morning before all the vehicles arriving. Next. And this shows a bus that was mentioned earlier that gets to drop off the students. And then there's always a school teacher in the bus, or one of the security guards will take the kids to the school, inside the school, or they bring them back in the afternoon. Next. No question, like any other public school, the vehicles line up, queue up to get to the school right before the bell time in the afternoon, which is the most busiest time of the school. And this is basically south of Community. And then I'll have other slides, please go forward. So this is as we're progressing, getting closer to the school, cars are lined up. There are security guards along the sidewalks at the intersections that try to manage the traffic. There's no other school that has this type of operation in terms of private security guards trying to manage the traffic, making sure the parents do not, let's say, block driveways. There are occasions that they do. I'm sure that you can hear about that. Next. Continue, please. Same thing, it's just line up of vehicles. So now this is a drop-off in between the two driveways. Next. Same, again, lined up. And this is north of the northerly driveway drop-off. Again, there's an area where parents are dropping off, or in the morning they pick up. This is drop-off. This is pick-up in the afternoon. Next. Again, what happens is the security guard manages the driveway. Cars are coming in. They make sure that all the vehicles enter in the double lane. As they enter the driveway, they make sure that it doesn't block the sidewalk, so there's parents that are walking by. Or they go beyond the driveway and then they do the curbside pickup or drop-off. Next. Same operation. The school also has a very unique communication system. In other words, as you enter the driveway, they ask the parent, they already know who the parent is. They call for the child to come to the gate. So this way we'll make it quicker for the pickup. And then you announce it. And then next slide. Make sure that this is another, right where the kids are coming out, there's another security guard here. Next. So as they walk out, the car is there, the parent is there, the kid is loaded into the car, and then the vehicle leaves. Next. There's a security guard at the exit as well, so that cars that are exiting, they do not block the sidewalk as they're making a right turn. Or it's restricted to make a left turn on Lowell. There are times people make a left turn, they shouldn't be, but most of the time security guard is able to control that. Next. Security guard in the middle, as kids that want to go to the curb, they will assist them to go to the curb if their parent is waiting there. Next. This is a bunch of the parents are waiting for their kids to arrive, or they're loading the car. Next. Some of the parents who park farther away on Foothill, they walk down to the school. They come inside the school. Again, the same announcement of the child's name is made. They take the kid, and then they walk out. Next. There's a ramp that was designed by the school so that as you exit, it's an ADA ramp, takes you to the sidewalk. Again, drop off or pick up. This, at Abella, the City of Glendale improved that crossing there. It's kind of a mid-block crossing with signage, and there's a crossing guard there now. The idea was, because there's limited curb, again, along Lowell, some of the parents who come and park on the west side of Lowell, in order to pick up, they leave their vehicle there, they run across the street, and they go into the school in order to pick up their kid and do the same. The idea was so that they can walk down to Abella and then go up to the school and then come back. It's a little farther away, about 400 or 500 square linear feet. So we have a suggestion to that effect that I would like to share with you. Next. Okay, so this is the idea is instead of having the crosswalk at Abella, we know that parents do drop off kids on the west side of Lowell Street. So what we're suggesting is, and I've run this concept by the city traffic engineer, it has to be still approved, it has to go into more design stage, more detail with scales and everything. But generally to show you what we're recommending, in order to increase the curb area for drop-off, allow also drop-off on the west side of Lowell, put in that, relocate the crosswalk, which is at Abella, to the middle. And then also, as you can see, we're putting in signage that says, you know, no crossing at the northerly driveway or in between. It basically will force parents who park on that side of the street to go to the middle. We're asking the school, we're recommending to the school that they have a professional crossing, or there are companies that actually do that work for the city. They're on their contract with the city, and school has agreed to do so, have a professional crossing guard at all times. In fact, there might be two of them, one on each side of the street. And then we're also recommending those flexible posts that can be installed right in the middle. So that would be a deterrent if anybody decides at the north end, well, let me just cross the street, there's no traffic. It will still make it safer for everybody to cross both directions. Next slide, please. At the Verdugo Woodlands School, the city also has these signs. These are basically pedestrian crossing signs that you press a button. When you press a button, it starts flashing. It is solar powered, doesn't need power. So that during the school hours, during the morning drop-off or in the afternoon pickup, they can press the button, and in addition to the crossing guard that will be there, we think that would be an improvement in terms of the traffic operation. It will technically should reduce some of the parents who are going into community or Abella or some of those streets that are waiting there in order to get into the line to come and do the pickup in the afternoon. We think this is an improvement. Again, I want to emphasize we can work with the city staff, city traffic engineer, to fine-tune this to a point where the city will agree with its implementation. At the end, as Rodney mentioned, I think I worked in Glendale for many years. I know every 34 schools in Glendale. Again, no school does the limit of traffic management that this school does, Chalmerian School does. In terms of the parents who are involved, or specifically the staff that is constantly out there, in addition to 5 or 6 security guards, they're constantly making sure the kids get in, get out in the morning, they drop them off. To the even for first, second graders, you know, they don't announce it loudly. They just have the communication go to the classroom so they can limit the level of noise that it generates. Because at the end of the day, the kids are running or playing. In the playground, they need to hear their name in order to be able to come and get picked up. So overall, I certainly say that the school is doing a great job, and we'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you so much. Any questions from our traffic engineer? I do have a question. So you said you're currently working with the city engineer on the design.
Yes, we
of this.
have presented this to the city engineer based on our last couple of weeks. We've been monitoring this, and in concept, he's agreeable to it.
Yes.
But unless we actually put it into professional design drawings, it will not be approved yet. But the school is amenable to a condition for this change.
Okay, thank you. But this is not one of, Roger, this is not one of the conditions of the approval? Just,
No, not at this point.
okay. So the school is just doing this voluntarily working?
Yeah, we've been working with the school to see, are there other things? There might be other ideas we may have to improve as they brought us on board. This will be one of them, and the school and the team is amenable to actually, I mean, if it's a condition, they will go for it.
Thank you so much.
Sure, thank you.
Next, I heard the principal, I'm sorry, I don't have your card, but I know it's here. If you would please come forward. Hello?
Esteemed members of the Glendale Planning Commission, good evening and thank you for this opportunity to speak before you today. My name is Talin Kargadorian and I'm the head of school of Shalmian Armenian School, a school that stands as a beacon of educational excellence within our community. I was born and raised here in Glendale, a city I hold dear to my heart. My journey with education began right at Shamlian, and we used to live on Lowell Avenue, and I used to walk back and forth to school, the house on the corner of Altura and Lowell Avenue. I was a turnkey child. We locked the door. We walked to school every day. And I remember in 1987 when we had the big earthquake, my sister and I thought of the safest and happiest place to go to in that moment, and that was right to Shamlian. And it really warms my heart that until today, our school serves as that space for our students. And this year, this coming year, July 1st, we'll launch our 50th anniversary celebration. And my heart swells with pride to see how Shamlian has blossomed, thriving against the backdrop of our vibrant city of Glendale. Shalmian was established in 1975, born from the necessity to address the post-genocide trauma that afflicted our ancestors, whilst also striving to preserve our rich Armenian language and heritage. From those early days when the school was open, our school was welcomed by the neighborhood here in La Crescenta, and it began to serve as a sanctuary for immigrant families grappling with their new lives in America. Now our mission has evolved. Today, of course, we stand firm on our core values that extend the foundational aim of heritage preservation, but also encompass a strong focus on academic excellence, innovation, and integrity. Our commitment is cultivating the whole child, nurturing morally upright individuals who are not only leaders within our Glendale community, but also responsible global citizens, making an impact on our state, our country, and beyond. And this process takes a village and a strong community who all work together and lead by example. From myself to our teachers, to our staff, assistants, our security guards, we all do our parts to support the students, the school, the drop-off and pickup procedures, and our neighborhood. And despite the breadth of our vision, Shalmian remains one of the most financially accessible institutions in our county. Our commitment to remaining a community school, open and welcoming to all, has never wavered, even as we strive to deliver unparalleled educational experiences. Our tuition, intentionally kept at a manageable level, does not fully cover the cost per student. And the fact that we're able to close the gap is a testament to the concept of community and family that we talk about at Shamlian. Countless hours of volunteerism, donations, and support to the school uplift our school and set our school apart as one with a strong community and one we consider ourselves as a family, as I was saying. Every penny, every single dollar that we have is accounted for and used to support our students' education and experience at Shamlian. Our goal is to prepare our students with a top-notch education, ensuring them that they are well prepared to excel in rigorous academic programs, whether in prestigious Glendale schools, Clark, CV, Glendale High, Hoover, where they continue on, or competitive private institutions beyond our city. We judiciously manage our resources, always with an eye toward optimizing our students' educational journey, retaining an exceptional faculty and staff, and being conscientious neighbors in our beloved community. That's it? Oh,
Thank you so much.
I had
And-
closing, but I'll stop. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so
And,
much.
Are there any questions from the principal? I just have a question, and I don't know if you have the answer. The bus operation question that came up earlier, I was just curious if you had, by any chance, the numbers of students that use the bus service?
So before COVID, we had full operation of the bus. And after COVID, during COVID, we stopped just like all the other schools did. After COVID, we did continue to encourage encourage students to sign up, to follow up on our CUP. But there's still that stigma regarding health concerns and the discomfort of riding buses. So even though we do have a full bus signed up, there's often a reason or not people do not want to ride the bus. So officially, yes, we have a full bus that's signed up.
Okay,
Just
thank you. Yes, please go
follow
ahead.
up.
Yes.
So how many students are using the bus average on a daily basis?
50 students have signed up for the bus.
but how many are using them?
It just varies. Like, for example, we had a pink eye outbreak and so suddenly everyone was super nervous to ride the bus. One day someone has a soccer game, and then the other ones had basketball practice, so it's really inconvenient for them to participate on the bus. But they have signed up for it. But before COVID, it was very regular for individual students to ride the bus, but everyone is still very uncomfortable with that idea at this time.
And I'm assuming the same thing happened to your van?
No, the van continues. It's a smaller group.
Smaller,
The van is 15 passenger.
Okay.
The van.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Of course, thank you. All right, we're gonna start with the public. Are we keeping time?
We are.
Okay, do we have a little light that turns on when, or is this?
It's,
they
I think
use
it's a noise now.
Okay, it just actually makes that sound. All right, so I'm gonna start reading the names. Talin Hartunian, followed by Nairi Agayan. You're the lucky number one.
Number one. I was like, I hope I'm not number one, and here I am. So I
Hello.
should go buy a lottery ticket. I'm just gonna pass around.
2 minutes, right?
Yes, and everyone at this point, from this point on, has 2 minutes.
Okay, at that point, I will read rather than speak, just so that I try
Sure,
to
please
keep
go
it
ahead.
concise. So good afternoon, or good evening, I should say. My name is Talin Hartunian. I am a parent of a kindergarten student, a 4th grade student, and a 6th grade student at Shalmian. And I want to talk about 3 major points, I believe, which are the efficiency of drop-off and pickup at Shalmian's attempts at continuous improvement of the process, Shalmian students and parents giving back to the community, and a legal axiom, which is buyer beware. So drop-off and pickup occurs very expeditiously at Shalmian. Officers and employees are dispersed along Lowell at various points in order to maintain organization and fluidity. Shalmian instituted a 3rd line for drop-off. This happened in the last couple of years. And with the help of additional staff, the speed up of the drop-off process considerably improved, helping the line move very quickly. Shalmian is very mindful of its neighbors and continuously self-monitors and looks for ways to improve the process, as is shown by the fact that they instituted this 3rd line. Throughout the year, they sent emails to parents reminding them of our obligation to our neighbors to be just that, neighborly. Not only do they want us to drive safely, but to be mindful of our surroundings and respecting our neighbors. They're continuously revisiting ways to make pickup and drop-off more cohesive and really attempt to be the best neighbor that they possibly can. All of the above demonstrates Shalmian's self-vigilance, self-control, and because, as a good neighbor should, Shalmian desires to be a part of the neighborhood culture. Shalmian's education and its commitment to building character of its students is exemplary. Shalmian continuously ranks in the top tier of nationwide scholastic competitions in math, science, and history, and many students rank more than 4 grades above their reading levels, as evidenced through star reading assessments. In addition, Shalmian places importance and institutes programs like NEHS, National Elementary Honor Society, that teaches children about compassion and giving them opportunities to give back. Students aside, parents support the local community by shopping locally, populating local restaurants, and supporting local businesses, a loss that would be felt community-wide in their absence.
She has 20 seconds left.
Shalmian is
She has a
celebrating
warning
50
buzzer.
years, and prior to that, Lowell Elementary School stood in its place. The point is that when you buy near a school, any school, you must be reasonably anticipate some level of traffic at pickup and at drop-off. Traffic is not the same on any street when there is no school. However, knowingly purchasing a property neighboring a school means that you have taken into consideration traffic patterns in the area and have nonetheless decided to purchase.
Thank you, Ms. Hartinian. Next,
Oh, the images,
yes.
are images of other schools, not Shalmian, of their traffic patterns that are worse than they are at Shalmian.
Thank you for your comments. Next, we have Nairi Agayan, followed by Rafi Karabedian. Hello.
Hello. Good evening. My name is Naira Gayan, and as an alum of Shalmian Armenian School, I am honored to stand before you today and speak about the profound impact that this institution has had on both my academic pursuits and character. As mentioned, for nearly 50 years, Shalmian has been a beacon of excellence and upheld the pillars of integrity, innovation, academic excellence, and notably Armenian heritage. These core values aren't just words on paper, but they shape every aspect of the Shalmian experience. Charleon Tigers, which is their mascot, embody traits of determination, loyalty, fearlessness, and boldness. And each class is bound by their pride in representing this institution, reflecting these commendable characteristics in both academic endeavors and beyond. Each one of my former classmates that I still have connections with exemplify a drive for success and display of their passion for Armenian heritage. My hopes are that under the aegis of our City Council, Charleon will undoubtedly continue to thrive, preparing its young tigers to make their unique mark on the world. The unique qualities of Charleon, coupled with its unwavering focus on academic excellence, foster outstanding leaders, citizens, and neighbors. Most importantly, it cultivates a passionate and patriotic generation of Armenians. I was recently at the March of Justice on April 24th to commemorate the Armenian Genocide, and in every corner I turned, I noticed a Charleon alumni from my class, from former classes, and grades above me, whether they were simply rallying or if they were organizing the protest. At Charleon, the emphasis extends beyond academic achievement and encompasses the holistic development of individuals who are not only academically proficient, but also morally upright and socially responsible. How much time do I
You
have?
have 20 minutes. I mean, seconds. Sorry about that, seconds.
So to conclude, as an alum, I can attest to the transformative power of Charleon experience. It is here that I received a top-notch education and also was able to incorporate these values that continue to guide me in my life. I'm currently a student at Flintshire Sacred Heart Academy, and I believe that these pillars that we upheld at Charleon have allowed me to thrive, and thrive in both academics and to be a member of my community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Agayan. Next, we have Rafi Garabedian, please. Hello.
Good evening. My name is Rafi Garabedian, and I've had the pleasure of attending Charleon Armenian School for the past 8 years. My parents, right there, are proud Charleon alums and still talk about their fondest memories growing up as classmates. It was the only obvious choice that once they formed a family, their children will also have the opportunity to attend Charleon. Fast forward to 2024, as I stand here having completed 8 amazing years at Charleon, I leave with skills that I have acquired to strive for academic excellence, thrive as a productive citizen, and to utilize technology with competence. Most importantly, I have learned to embrace the Armenian culture and heritage by not only developing competency in Armenian language, but by growing in faith. It has been a privilege to serve as an active member of the Armenian Club for 2 years, first as class rep and this year as the vice president. To play a lead role in the Armenian theater production just a few months ago, to be a finalist in an all-Armenian school recitation contest, and to place first and second place in the school-wide spelling and vocabulary bee, respectively. Thank you, Charleon, for these opportunities. All these skills will serve as stepping stones as I continue my educational journey. I have been fortunate to have had nurturing teachers as mentors. I am blessed to call Charleon my second home, where I have made lifelong friendships and unforgettable, priceless memories that I'll hold on to for the rest of my life. I'll definitely come back and visit the school. I'm certain that when I have my own family, they will undoubtedly attend Charleon as well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Garabedian. Peter Bagdasarian, followed by Marina Kalachian.
I want to say thank you to the staff to doing a nice history. I wouldn't have to repeat all that stuff. I was here 10 years ago, standing here and probably giving a similar speech, so I won't repeat the things I said. I do want to say, as somebody who was an alumni of Charleon Armenian School, and my kids are now alumni of Charleon Armenian Schools, there's as you can see by the number of people here, it's a very important school, not only for the people that attend, but for the community, for Glendale. I serve on the Glendale Adventist Foundation board, and I know how important it is to recruit quality doctors to compete against Cedars and all the other important, I had a meeting today, and one of the drawing factors for these doctors to come to Glendale, move back to Glendale, or move and work in Glendale is the fact that there's a quality school like Charleon. So that's one of the things that even if you never attend or never go, hopefully we never end up in Glendale Adventist, but if you do, the quality doctor may have been an alumni or is sending their kid there. Those are the things that are important to the school. And one thing I want to say, and kind of want to say this, is what Rodney mentioned, is it's a tough thing for the school that basically operates on a deficit to come and do this, because it costs money to as much as we love our consultants, to hire consultants and do this process. So I would like to make this a permanent process and have this long-lasting, because the school has been there for, it's a 50-year school, and it'll be there for a very long time. I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate the, again, the staff's work on this one. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, we have Marina Kalachian, please, followed by Evan Aravelian.
Yeah.
Hello.
Good evening. My name is Marina Kalachian. I am a resident of La Crescenta and a parent at Shamlian Armenian School. I'm also the chair of the school's Parent Support Committee. And I've been a member of the PSC for 13 years. We currently have over 100 volunteer moms who dedicate their time to support our school and community. My youngest daughter is a current student at Shamlian. My eldest graduated and moved on to Clark, graduated from there. My middle daughter is a current student at Crescenta Valley High School, and they both had seamless transitions, and they themselves value, in addition to us, of course, and are very grateful for their time at our beloved school. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for your presentation. Evan Aravelian, please.
Yes, thank you for having us and for your consideration. I'll be brief. I myself am a product of wonderful Los Angeles County schools, Blue Ribbon schools, and now as a member of the Glendale community, I choose to send my children to Shamlian because I have never seen such a school that just completely, through leadership, through education, through community, supports their families, supports their students, and such a welcoming and friendly environment. So I would say that it is truly an asset to the community, and I would echo the sentiment that we would hope that this continues on and hope that it becomes a permanent fixture. So thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have Annabelle Hambarsumian.
Thank you for the opportunity. Hello. I am a neighbor right across the school. And
I'm sorry, would you need to actually introduce yourself?
I forgot that. My name is Annabelle Hambarsumian, and I'm a neighbor right in front of the school on the westbound. And I have obviously nothing against the school itself, and I love that the kids get education and all that stuff. However, traffic, it's getting worse by the day, and inconsiderable parkings, blocking our driveways, blocking our garbage cans. So many times they have so many events, they block the whole streets surrounding, so we cannot even have guests. People cannot find a spot, and the number of events are getting more and more, and with the recent changes in public schools, the number of students have increased. I know so many that already registered there, which I'm perfectly happy with, but the chaotic system, traffic issues are horrible. And unfortunately, so many are very inconsiderate parents. They just literally block a huge driveway. I have to wait like 20 minutes to make a right to take my son to school. There is a stop sign right at Altura. They come, they just do a slight stop and run without even considering you have to give me a right to turn left. It's not just you stop and you can continue. The issues are getting worse by the day, and I cannot emphasize more on that. The noise, the events they have till late at night, they have huge parties, so they are calling the names. I know all the names already by all of them. I'm familiar with them all. And the events that they have. It's like for us, we don't have private time. We have our house, we cannot gather at the backyard because there are noise so many times. So
Thank you, Ms.
that's about it. But
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you for the
Barsoumian.
opportunity. Of course.
Thank you. Next, we have Seth Lawrence. Can you hear me?
Hello, my name is Seth Lawrence. I am one of the neighbors that lives on Community Avenue. I think it's great to have a fantastic Armenian school in the community. I have 4 kids. We have kids that attend public and private school. So I understand the need for a focused school, and I think it should stay. However, I don't think, I agree with the last commenter, the traffic is bad, and it's gotten much, much worse since COVID. I don't know what other parents have seen, but what I see is parents driving up Lowell, cutting the line on Community, flipping a U, and then going to pick up their kid, which I don't think should be allowed or permitted by the school. It only makes other parents upset, and it's a detriment to their own community. I have a lot of comments on this other stuff, but I think it's just important to say that you should read the emails about the traffic issues. It does strike as unsafe. Parents are not parking on Community, so there's nothing the police can do because the parents remain in their cars, but they block driveways. You can't exit your driveway to pick up our own kids at school pickup times. And I don't know why people keep comparing this school to a public school, because with a private school, and this private school in particular, most of the kids are coming in from outside the community. In a public school, everybody lives, theoretically, right around the school. So there's not as much of a traffic issue inherent to the school itself. I think the only way to solve this is with mandatory busing, and let parents who have an issue as the exception go pick up their kids for a soccer game or doctor's appointment or whatever it is. But otherwise, mandatory busing, I think, is the only way to solve this issue. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Next, we have Chow Oyong.
Hi, thank you for your time. I would like to point out a safety issue today.
Please introduce yourself,
My
sir.
name is Chow
Thank you.
Oyang. I live in Abella for 9 years.
Thank you.
We have this traffic issue, but I want to say it's a safety issue. I would like to borrow the slide you have in the picture with Lowell and Abella, because I reported directly to the police office, to the principal, has been no help, and they have been telling us the same quote. Don't you know there's a school when you buy the house? If you don't happy with it, please move away. I have to talk to them multiple times, that's no help. So one of like this kind of video, no people controlling car parking in the intersection, and car, if you have the slide, the car is constantly parking on the red, which blocking the side when people drive on Lowell. You don't see any car come out from Abella, and same for Abella, people go to Lowell. You don't see people going down or up. So it's a very safety issue. They are not striking only for the neighbor, but everyone, include the school and children,
I'm
driving on
sorry,
the street.
which slide do you want up?
There's an image you showed 3 down, or 2 down actually.
This one?
Yes, I believe the black car there is parking on the red. So you don't see the car coming from Abella. Black car there, so.
You know, let's just
continue the
no
conversation.
cross communication,
So
please.
car continually parking on the red is blocking the side. That's a safety issue there. If I could recommend, we need to put a stop sign on Lowell to make sure every car stop before it continue. Otherwise, I don't want to see sad story happen.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Next, I have Johnny Ventura.
Good evening.
Hello.
My name is Johnny Ventura. I live on Abella Street behind the Chameleon School. I've lived there almost 50 years. My children went to Lowell Elementary when there was 225 students. Now we have almost 700. I'm not here to say anything derogatory about the school. It's an excellent school, but that's not the issue here tonight. The issue is the traffic on Lowell has gotten, as other people have pointed out, worse and worse, getting worse. It's like a Mad Max movie. 2014, there was an application for variance approval was rejected by Glendale City Council to increase the student population from 500 to 700. It was finally approved if parents began carpooling along with van pools, shuttle buses, and school buses. It never happened, except for one yellow school bus a couple weeks ago dropped off 17 students. I understand that it's a problem riding buses, but that plan never worked out. The relationship of the school with neighbors has been fraught with anxiety. After phone calls, emails, certified mail to clear the school's storm drain, it never was cleared. And from that, it backed up and water flowed from the storm drain into Derek Rotuno's home through his swimming pool under his foundation onto Bella Street. Then it was immediately cleared. Mr.
I
Rotuno,
think, sir, you have about 20 seconds.
I have one more statement.
Of course, please go ahead.
Mr. Rotuno then sold his house and moved to Oceanside after 35 years living in the same house. You know, Spike Lee made a movie in 1989 which was nominated for an Academy Award, and it was called Do the Right Thing. This issue is not an easy issue to decide for the planners, you guys. However, we are asking again that the planners vote no on approving the variance. This issue goes back to 2008. Here's an article from the LA Times,
Thank you,
one
Mr.
of many
Ventura.
articles.
Thank you, Mr. Ventura.
You're welcome.
Next, I have Lilith Arakelian.
Good evening.
Hello.
My name is Lilith Arakelian. I live on the street right across from the school. Our neighbors already told most of the issues, traffic issues. I don't want to repeat that. But my main concern is more and more students. They're saying they're not expanding. We know for sure they're expanding. And I wanted to bring this up that I've seen that they've opening a preschool. Now the preschool is gonna be right in front, and I don't think our small community can take that. It's very dangerous. The name calling, during my maternity leave, I knew every student's name. You hear them in your backyard. My child could not sleep from how loud they were. I'm not opposed to closing the school, but I don't think this is correct. Something needs to happen. The school cannot get bigger and bigger in a very small community. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Next, I have Tatevik Tonapetyan. Sorry if I didn't say that correctly.
Ethnic names. Hi. Very nice to meet all of you. My name is Dr. Tatevik Tonapetyan. I live on Lowell Avenue. As a lot of my neighbors did explain, I'm kind of going to leave the emotional side out of it, because if I go into it, I'll talk about how a 2-year-old can't nap, how an elderly 83-year-old patient who just had a stroke can't rest to recoup. So I'm just going to hit the facts on this. First and foremost, I'm going to talk about the traffic. Yes, it is horrible, but let's take a lot of the things that the school set into account. First and foremost, there was no busing prior to COVID. We live there. I see those students every single day. I know all of their names. Busing did not exist, almost non-existent. We've seen a bus come around about a month ago, a couple of weeks ago, a couple of students on there, and it left, and honestly enough, it blocked our neighbor's driveway. And when the neighbor said something, the bus said, oh, we're waiting for the cars up front to move so we can go park on the street. It doesn't work that way. You cannot have a bus blocking a driveway where a person is initially just jailed in their own house. COVID did not impact the school that bad as they might say it ought to be. The pictures that you saw on the slides given by the esteemed traffic engineer did not actually show what's going on the daily basis that we have to live through. The school says that the student, on their own website, says the students need to pay $175 per month per student in order to use a bus. That is a deterrent from them using it rather than for it to be an incentive for them to use it. Parents have to pay on top of a tuition $175. On top of that, across the street, the church was purchased and preschool is going to be built. So across the street, the school is funding for, under a different name, a preschool to be built. So additional students will be there, and they are growing. Their outlook for 2030 that I printed from their website shows that they are looking to expand. So even if they're saying nothing's going to change, it is changing. People keep saying there will be no change from 2014 to today. Yes, because in 2014, 200 students were added. We didn't know what the impact was going to be. Now we do, and we see how horrible it is. We are not okay with being told by the principal of the school, you don't like it, call the police. You should have known there's a school here. Don't buy the house, move out.
Thank you for your comments. The 2 minutes has been completed. Thank you. Next, I have Agop Halibian.
Good evening, distinguished members of the City Council, Planning. My name is Jacob Halebian, and I am one of the security members of Chamalyan Elementary School. Now, in the short 6 months that I've been working at the school and observing the traffic conditions on Lowell, I can assure the community and the residents near the school, as well as this council, that the teachers and the staff are doing everything in their power to make sure that the traffic flows as smoothly as possible during drop-offs in the mornings and as well as pickups in the afternoon. And most importantly, that all students, parents, community members, and residents are safe during the high traffic hours. Now, we are constantly trying to improve traffic conditions on Lowell with proper cone and security placement, as well as encouraging parents and students to use the crosswalks to help with traffic flow and making sure certain parents and other drivers are aware of the city posted road signs. We also have faculty members in the driveway, in addition to security guards, assisting students to and from the vehicles. The safety of the school and community is our top priority, right next to properly educating young minds. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, I have Lana Ghazarian, followed by, sorry, Jana, I just found your card. Followed by Patil Abushian. So, Lana?
Good evening. My name is Lana Ghazarian, and I am a 6th grade student at Shamlian Armenian School. I am so blessed and honored to attend Shamlian Armenian School. The academics, athletic department, and co-curriculars here are so amazing and enjoyable. I love being able to call this my second home, and I feel so lucky to have such wonderful administration and students as part of my daily life. The thought of waking up every morning and being able to see my friends and our kind teachers make it even more pleasant to attend school. Recently, I was given the opportunity to attend our after-school theater program for many months and performed as the lead character, Maria Rayner, in The Sound of Music. It was a very memorable and gratifying experience, working with different grade levels and being able to perform on stage with our friends. I am looking forward to my last 2 years of building memories, meaningful experiences, and fun journeys at our lovely school. Thank you.
Thank you, Lana. I am so proud of our little citizens, and I hope you continue doing this as our city is growing. We have our general plan coming up, so you guys can definitely participate in that. Isn't that good? All right, so next is Patil Aposhian, followed by Rafik Kasabian. Hello.
Good evening. My name is Patil Aposhian. At age 45, I have spent nearly half of my life affiliated with Shamlian. First as a student, then as a member of the Alumni Association, and now as a parent. My eldest daughter, who graduated Shamlian 2020, will be attending UC Berkeley this fall with 40 credits already completed as a dual enrolled student at Glendale Community College. My middle son graduated 2022, and my youngest is currently a Shamlian Tiger, which will keep me around the school for many more years. Currently, I'm employed by Caltech JPL, and even at work, I'm surrounded by Chamelyan parents and alumni. I've also been very active in many organizations, including serving as a commissioner for the state of California's Commission on Judicial Performance. Currently, I also serve as a board member for the Board of Regents, which is the governing body of Chamelyan and our other sister schools. Chamelyan's strength is fortified by its accredited faculty, along with the board of directors, which is composed of seasoned professionals and committed volunteers. Together, they work tirelessly to elevate the school's standards in academics, facility, safety, and service. They are not only a great school, but a great community supporter and a very good neighbor. To address the one comment about Chamelyan's expansion, we are committed to expansion, but expansion is not exclusive to just the property. We are expanding in academics. We are expanding with our growth and our roots in the community. And therefore, I consider you to grant us a permanent use variance for our school, the community, and our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Rafi Kasabian, followed by Sarina Ghazarian.
Good evening. Thank you for your time. My name is Rafi Kasabian. I'm a first-year parent at Chamelyan. My son Levon is in transitional kindergarten. I'm a product and lifer of the Armenian school system, Prelisi Armenian school system. I went to sister school, Mesrobian in Montebello. I'm an attorney by profession, and I'm also, for the last 15 years, an educator and lecturer at the UCLA Department of Communication. So education is of utmost value to me. Myself and everybody that you see here, we've all left our kids and our families at home tonight because this is a very, very serious issue for us. These are responsible parents. I know you've heard many things tonight about people driving recklessly and parking recklessly. These are responsible parents who want the very best education. They're respectful citizens of the community, and we're here to ask for a permanent variance, and it's got to get done. Let me tell you a short story from a couple of weeks ago. I practiced law in Hawaii. I was on Maui a couple of weeks ago for the fire cases, and I had lunch with a client at probably one of the top hotels on the island. And after my lunch, as I was leaving the lobby, this young lady who had a managerial role at the hotel came up to me. She said, "I hope you had a nice lunch, Mr. Kasabian." I looked at her name tag, and she's Armenian. I said, "Oh my gosh." I said, "Where are you from?" She said, "I'm from LA." I said, "Where did you go to school?" She looked at me straight in the eye and said, "I'm a Chamelyan alumni." She didn't talk about her high school. She didn't talk about her college. She told me she's a Chamelyan alumni. My point is, the impact of the school, the tentacles of this school go far beyond just the four walls of our school, go far beyond the city of Glendale. They go, in fact, across the Pacific Ocean. And the decision that you're going to make tonight is going to have a very strong impact, as Peter said, not only on the school, but the greater Los Angeles and California community at large. So please do the right thing tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening. My name is Sarina Ghazarian, and I'm a property owner on 2nd Avenue and a parent of 3 students at Chamelyan Armenian School. We've had our property since 2005. We are very proud to be neighbors and enjoy the Chamelyan Armenian School around our neighborhood. The issues as far as traffic is taken care of very diligently. Specifically, I can speak on 2nd Avenue. Both mornings and afternoons, drop-off and pickup at max is about 15 minutes. If not, we have teachers, we have security guards attending our students. Parents are very respectful of our neighbors. And honestly, as a neighbor, I have no complaint for 2nd Avenue. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you for your comments. I'm going to make a comment. I think it would be, if this would go faster if we just refrain from clapping, because then I have to do like a 10-second pause. All right, so next I have Talar Tejurian, followed by Rani Garibian.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Dr. Talar Tajirian. I am a lifelong Glendale resident. I am a surgeon, and I am a Chamelyan alumna from the time when there was a 9th grade, and I graduated with my friend Peter over there that already spoke. With a very strong Chamelyan educational foundation, I was able to scholarly succeed at Glendale High School and ultimately attend UCSF Medical School, which is ranked one of the top in the nation. When it was time for me to choose a school for my 3 children, there was no question in my mind that it would be Chamelyan. Over the last several years, under the direction of Dr. Kargadorian, Chamelyan has improved and it has evolved to unbelievable heights. It is in this uncertain world that we live in, I'm grateful that as Chamelyan students, my children are not only getting a great education, but they are safe and they are cherished. The level of school safety is unparalleled. I have 0 concerns about any episodes of violence for my children or for anyone around that school. My oldest child graduated from Chamelyan and is now a junior at Clark Magnet High School. He also is scholastically excelling. He has been recognized as one of the top GUSD high schoolers of Armenian descent. Additionally, he is winning awards in statewide academic competitions, and he's bringing pride to GUSD. Since its inception, Chamelyan Armenian School has continued to evolve and improve, and we're not only educating students, but we're getting them to mature into accomplished adults who are servants of the Glendale community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Ronnie Garibian.
Mr. Shabazyan, commissioners. I'm also a Glendale commissioner for CDBG. For the last 7 years, I'm also a delegate for St. Mary's Church. I'm on the board member of Glendale Police Foundation. So I'm also a parent for Chamelyan School. I have 2 daughters, 7th and 6th grader. And I'm going to just go to the more point of the conditions that we have. First, I want to thank the staff. Great job. It's a fantastic report. I read it throughout, back and forth many times. The condition of the bus, I understand, but again, after COVID, everything changed, as you guys know. Professionally, I'm in finance and real estate, as Mr. Binasian knows. We've known each other for 35 years, if not more. And real estate changed, everything changed. People are not covering their offices because of they're scared of COVID or anything as such. You can't force people to get on the bus. You can't force kids to get on the bus because that safety is more important than the traffic for 15 minutes or so. Additionally, the visiting you guys, we would love to visit you guys every 10 years for different reasons, but not for renewing this condition. We definitely want a permanent condition. You guys saw that the staff, the school is willing to give contact directly to the neighbors so we can take the load off of the police department, the phone calls to go to the police department because somebody, which there's a bad apple in every tree, block the driveway. It happens here and there. I do commute to work and I pass by Wilson Middle School. I can't even make that route. I have to go all the way around the block to do so. Again, doesn't make one wrong, the other's better, but nevertheless, the school's doing a great job with that drop-off and the pickup. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, I have Susan Bolin.
Hi, good evening.
Hello.
My name is Susan Bolin, and I'm here representing the Crescenta Valley Community Association. And just on the offset, I would like to say that if you were to approve the variance tonight, please do not do so with an unlimited term on that variance. That would be a huge mistake. And in addition to that, the children crossing the street from the west would also, with a lighted signal or a crosswalk, would also be a huge mistake. I myself, a month ago, wanted to check out what the neighbors were talking about, and I came up Lowell and I saw no less than 5 cars parked in driveways. And as I approach the drop-off area or the pickup area, there was a gentleman, a parent, who came, and I was moving slowly. I'm talking like 2 miles an hour. There was a gentleman who walked right in front of my car with like a second grader, kindergartner, first or second grader. So the lighted signal is probably a bad idea as well. Anyway, so I just want to reiterate, I sent a letter about 2 weeks ago stating our position We don't necessarily, we're not criticizing the school itself. They obviously do a great job in their educational program. But I was in attendance at the hearing in 2014 when Mr. Khan outlined all of the things that they promised to do and the conditions that were set thereafter, and many of them were not followed. And so we have concerns that any conditions set forth today would also not be followed. And I also want to mention that, yes, people already talked about the expansion of the state-of-the-art preschool across the street, and you might think, well, that's a separate project, it's not anything to do with this variance, but it really is. On their own website, they say it's Shamlian School, they're fundraising for it, they are expanding their program, and you need to consider that with the cumulative effect of all of the projects that are in line, not only on the corner of Lowell and Foothill, and in and out traffic and freeway access, it's really important that you look at the big picture and not approve this project in a bubble.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Next, we have Hovik and Mary. I'm really sorry, I can't. Would you please,
Back there,
would you
yes.
please
Good e-
introduce yourself? Sorry
Yes.
about that.
Mary and Hobi Katspanyan.
Thank you.
We live in the area, in the neighborhood, right off of Lowell and Altura, which we have 2 boys who attend Shamlian Armenian School. We often walk our boys to school and back. We also have an adult daughter who is a Shamlian alum, and she's on staff. We are fortunate to be able to send our children to Shamlian, where they're learning about our rich history, our culture, how to read and how to write in Armenian, which is so important to us, and where it's safe. Like it was mentioned, safety is of one of the utmost importance in today's society. Every day we hear stories. It is clean. We send our kids to a school that we are very proud of, and our mind is at ease, where they teach our children values, they teach respect, they teach and promote kindness. This is extremely important to both me and Hovik, my husband, that we continue to have our boys, our grandchildren, and future Shamlian students to attend Shamlian and experience the Shamlian life, to continue to grow, to continue to thrive, and become responsible citizens of our community. We ask and encourage you to consider a permanent use variance. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, I have Talin Aravelian, followed by Arpa Hatibanian.
Hi, good evening.
Hello.
My name's Talina Arvelian. I'm a physician. I'm an alumni of Shamlian. Both my kids attend Shamlian. And I want to tell you a few things. One is when I was a parent of coming decide where I'm going to send my kids to school, there was no question in my mind. Let me just tell you a little bit about myself. My parents sent me to Shamlian to get an Armenian education, but I didn't realize how much more I was getting on top of that. When I went to high school, I was the only Armenian student there, and I started 9th grade, and I was placed in 10th grade science and 10th grade math because the education I received at Shamlian far exceeded what they offered at my high school, which was very surprising to me. I did hours worth of homework at Shamlian, and then when I went to high school, I took countless AP classes, and it didn't compare. It was so easy. I went to UCLA for undergrad, I went to medical school, I'm a professor at USC, and I'm a chief of psychiatry at Los Angeles General Medical Center, which is the 2nd largest safety net hospital in all of the United States. I wanted to stress that as a psychiatrist, the mental health crisis and the importance of the foundation of a good school environment, the community that you're brought up in, is so important. And that is what Shamlian offers their students. I am here today, I'm a product and a member. I treat the underserved patient population every day, and I see what a broken system can do if you don't have your parent support and your community support and your school and teacher support. That is what Shamlian offers, and it is so important to keep that. I also want to stress that because of my Armenian education, I'm the only forensic psychiatrist in all of Los Angeles that is on the expert panel of expert psychiatry witness testimony for all of the Southern California Superior Court system. The only one that speaks Armenian. So any person that speaks Armenian that's in the criminal justice system, I'm the only psychiatrist they can go to. And that would not happen because if had it not been for Shamlian.
Thank you.
It's very important.
Thank you for your comments. Next, I have Arpa Hatibanian. Sorry, some of you guys wrote cursive, so I hope I'm not mispronouncing
Sorry,
the
my
names.
teacher handwriting. Hi, my name is Arpa Hatspanyan. I'm an alum of Shamlian Armenian School and a current administrator. I'd like to start by saying that 93% of our school population lives in Glendale within 10 minutes of our school. Now I want to take a personal note to say that I also live neighboring to a school, and every morning I have to leave my house 15 minutes earlier than I would if I didn't live next to a school. But I'm willing to make that sacrifice because education is important. During drop-off and pickup time around my neighborhood, my driveway is blocked frequently, and I'm willing to make those sacrifices because education is important. Additionally, my role is the Director of Student Affairs. We preach and we lead by example to our students how important respect to our neighbors is. We have shown them through example what it looks like to be a good neighbor, and we know that they will continue to do so. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Next, I have RP Dabarian, followed by Nairi Garapetian.
Good evening. My name is Arpi Dabarian, and I have been a resident of the beautiful city of Glendale since 1987. In this wonderful and safe city, our Shamlian Armenian School is located, and I am proud to be a member of the Shamlian big family. For many years, I have enjoyed teaching the Armenian language and history to our younger generation. I am also the director of the after-school Armenian Drama Club at Shamlian. Two of my students are here. I'm proud of them. We all know how important it is to embrace culture, language, and history in children. In Shamlian School's positive and safe environment, we prepare and nourish the new generation with a high quality of education, while teaching them good manners, kindness, and respect so they can become good citizens and give back to their beautiful country and city of Glendale, where our Shamlian School has been operating for 50 years. I'm proud to say that thousands of our successful schools graduates always give back to the community and their country in many different ways. We will continue to serve our community by following our school's core values: Armenian heritage, academic excellence, integrity, and innovation. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Next, I have Nairi Garapetian. Hello.
Good evening. My name is Nairi Garabetian, and it's an honor to be here tonight, not only as a teacher at Shamlian, but also as a parent and a resident of La Crescenta. I've lived in La Crescenta my whole life, and my connection to this community in Shamlian runs deep, filling me with pride and profound sense of belonging. My involvement with Shamlian is woven into my family's narrative. My husband is an alumnus, and our children are currently students at Shamlian. This unique perspective as a parent and educator at Shamlian enriches my commitment and in the stake that I have in the future of our school. With an academic background, holding 2 master's degrees and teaching credentials, I could have worked anywhere. Yet my heart chose Shamlian. Why, you ask? Because Shamlian stands out as a beacon of holistic education, embracing not only the academic excellence, but also the cultivation of global citizens equipped to contribute meaningfully to both local and international communities. Our students not only reach out and fundraise and collect donations for local organizations, but they also do so for our sister schools in Armenia and just internationally. Here at Shamlian, we're dedicated to nurturing our students to become 21st century learners. Our goal is to prepare them to navigate the complexities of a global society with empathy, critical thinking, and a deep sense of civil responsibility. Being part of this community, guiding our students, watching them grow alongside my children, and contributing to our shared future is an immeasurable joy. I'm thankful for our students, for my own kids' friends, and their bright future ahead. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Next, I have Ari Armenian, followed by Ani Nahapetyan. Hello.
Dear Planning Commissioners,
Would you please just give us your name? Thank you.
my name is Arya Armenian and I'm the Student Council Vice President at Shamlian. I've been at Shamlian for 8 years now and I greatly appreciate the wonderful education I've received. Shamlian has provided me with an amazing community and knowledgeable teachers. I've made countless memories at my school with my classmates and teachers. Shamlian has been a second home for me these past 8 years. I also have many younger cousins who are currently enrolled at Shamlian, and I hope they too will enjoy the great environment and education I've benefited from. Shamlian is an important part of this community, and I hope you'll continue to support it. Thank you.
Thanks for your comment. Next, I have Ani Nahapetyan, followed by Zanku Armenian.
Hello, my name is Ani Nahapetyan. I'm a parent at Shamlian Armenian School. I'm also a professor of computer science at Cal State Northridge, and I had prepared remarks to talk about the school's excellence in science, technology, engineering, and math, and art, talking about its strength in programming, its introduction of the engineering thought process to its students, its science fair, and how the students compete in the science fair, in the LA County Science Fair, its participation in the bookmark contest that's offered by the public library system, and also in the beautiful mural and tile art the students have made. But honestly, sitting here, I was reminded of the time in COVID where the schools were shuttered, the streets were empty, there was no traffic, and my kid was home. And thank you for what they did for my kid during that time. That was very hard. And I just thought today when I walked to campus to pick up my children, as I was walking in, they spotted me and they called my kid's name, first name and last name. And I felt that I belonged as a part of this community. I know it also brought a sense of safety to the community that usually it's Dr. K or Miss Arpa or a few others who've spoken, but they know who I am. They recognize me, they recognize my husband, they recognize my mom who infrequently picks up, and they know my children. And my children feel valued, that their name is said out loud, their first name, their last name, and that's how they come to the card. And I know the whole process is to expedite pickup and minimize traffic. So thank you. Thanks for the time allowing me to do that. And I support the permanent variance. And I wonder if traffic appears heavier because we had no traffic during COVID. All right, thank you.
Thanks for your comment. I'm really sorry if I mispronounced your name, so if you can introduce yourself, please. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Zanku Armenian. I'm a resident of Glendale for the last 2 decades. I'm an executive at Southern California Edison. I'm a commissioner for the CDBG Commission, City of Glendale, serving along with my colleague, Ronnie Garibian, but my most important title is as a parent. As a parent, Shamlian has been an integral part of our lives for the last 8 years. Teaching our children critical values. I won't get into the whole educational part of it, but critical values and respect, discipline, kindness, and being a part of the community. I want to focus on more practical things rather than talking about the school, because I think that's what we're here to talk about today. And I want to start with saying that Dr. K, the head of the school, and the administration run an extremely tight ship. And I can say that as a parent because we receive communication almost on a daily basis on a variety of fronts, including the many of the issues that you've heard about today, to make sure that the parents maintain awareness about how they're conducting themselves, particularly during drop-off and pickup and during other functions. they've implemented continuous improvement, and I think that's kind of part of their value at the school. And I think the dedicated lane that you guys saw Jono present that was added this year has tremendously improved the efficiency of the drop-off. Look, no school or pickup drop-off situation is perfect. The traffic on Lowell cannot completely be attributed to this school. It is an artery serving the entire mountain as a connecting point to the 210. So let's not, and traffic has increased generally speaking everywhere. So let's please keep it in context in terms of what the traffic issues are. No school provides free shuttles. It just doesn't exist anymore. And so I would ask you not to impose that because I think public transportation hasn't been really picked up on. I want to also urge you.
Mr. Armenia, your time is
One
up.
last point. I want to urge you not to apply unfair standards to Chamelyan School that you wouldn't be doing to any other school.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Before we continue, I'm curious to know how many callers we have.
We have six. We have 6 callers.
6 callers, okay. I probably have about 10 cards, 15 cards. If you're, if you're being called to come forward, if a portion of your comment has already been said, maybe, we can make it a little shorter. If, it's been repeated, you can just let Planning Commission know that you agree with comments that have been provided before. But again, this is your 2 minutes. And I'm gonna call the next name, Lori Shahbazian. I should be able to pronounce that. Avakim, followed by Lori Santikian. And I don't know Lori Shahbazian, even though she has my last name. Hi, Lori.
Hello. Hello, everyone. My name is Lori Shahbazan Awakim, and I live very close to Chamelyan, about 2 blocks away on Boston Avenue. I'm a proud graduate of Chamelyan, having attended from 1st through 8th grade. Even though it has been over 4 years since I graduated, I still maintain a strong connection to the school and deeply appreciate its profound impact on my life. And I'm currently a student at West Coast University for my Bachelor of Science in Nursing, and I'm more than positive that Chamelyan has been one of the greatest motives to motivate me to pursue nursing. Chamelyan is very important to our community. Chamelyan provided me with an exceptional education that emphasized both academics and personal growth, all within a safe and family-oriented environment. The dedicated teachers worked tirelessly to ensure each student thrived in this supportive and friendly setting, helping us develop into responsible, thoughtful, and well-rounded individuals. The school felt like a second home where safety and family values were prioritized, creating a comforting and nurturing space for learning and personal development. Chamelyan helps students grow into good people who positively contribute to our society, and many graduates become important residents of the city of Glendale, demonstrating how well Chamelyan prepares them to be active in their communities. Please approve the school's request for use variance, allowing it to continue playing a vital role in our community. This school is not just teaching kids, it's making a significant difference in their lives and in our community. Thank you for considering this important matter.
Thank you for your comments. Next, I have Lori Sartikian. Thank you. After this commenter, can we take a very quick break?
Of course.
Thank you.
Hi, so we have the Loris back to back. Thank you so much for your time. I'll be brief. I know everyone is hungry and tired. I'm Lori Santikian. I'm a professor at UCLA Anderson School of Management and Finance and Strategy. I'm also the director of the UCLA Fink Center for Finance. Previously, I was a professor of finance at USC Marshall School of Business. And I'm a very proud alum of Chamelyan Armenian School. I graduated 8th grade in the class of 1994. Dr. Karkodoran was my classmate. And I met, like many of us who are here tonight, I'm here because of the profound impact Chamelyan has had on me. I moved on to study math and economics at UC Berkeley, which then led me to a PhD in economics at Harvard University. And the reason I mention that is that for me, that academic journey began at Chamelyan, specifically my love for math, which became my college major and was the foundation of my PhD, all really began with the teachers at Chamelyan who encouraged me and inspired me in math. and really kind of fostered that interest that I had. Specifically, our principal at the time created an advanced track in math, which was a relatively novel idea at the time. And that same commitment to academic excellence and creating a nurturing environment for the academic side as well as sort of self-development for children, I know is a hallmark of the school now under Dr. K's leadership. And that's why for our children, we have 5-year-old twins. We chose Chalmion. They will start kindergarten there in the fall because this is exactly the sort of foundation we want to set for them as well. We're a Chalmion family. My brother and I are both Chalmion alumni. Mr. Garan Santikian, who's a math teacher at Chalmion now, I know is one of the math teachers who is playing that same role, inspiring the future generation. And let me just add, logistically, so yes, Lowell is an artery to the 210, an artery that I use during drop-off and pickup time every day during Chalmion, taking my kids to their preschool, which is in Pasadena. And I've never encountered any problems. If I had, I would have avoided Lowell, much like I avoid Rosemont when I leave for my parents' house and other schools.
Thank you so much for your time. I think I missed the buzzer.
Oh,
I think the
well, we
buzzer
missed it too. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Let's take a very quick break. It's 6:53. Let's be back at 7. All right. Thank you. We are resuming our meeting and going back to public comments. Our next speaker is Alin Bogosian, followed by Manuela Abrahamian.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you for having me. My name is Alin Bogosian. I'm just going to say very short speech. I'm 46 years old. I wish I can have more kids. Unfortunately, because I can't, I'm going to adopt kids just to send them to Shamlian. I feel like it's the safest school. I have an older one who graduated from Shamlian. He goes to a high school now. I've never seen a school. I live in the area, of course, in Glendale. I'm a physician's wife. That's how I'm known. So I've never seen a school who has security guards 3 blocks away from the school with signs, with very safe security guards, very safe directions. We get emails constantly reminding us, parents, on Instagram. I'm sorry, okay. I didn't think I'm going to be the first one to be called. On Instagram, we get reminders, emails, how to, our safety of our kids is #1 at Shamlian. We have an amazing principal who's the only school I drive by and see her there, rain or shine, standing there, naming and calling every student, recognizing us with a beautiful smile, naming our, it's very special to feel like how do you feel safe when you know that your principal stands there with an umbrella, very cold days, very rainy days, with a beautiful smile, and welcome every one of us. Each one of us, I always tell them, how do you even, teachers of course, they know 700 or 600 or 500 names of students, first name with last name, siblings. They ask about our kids, they ask about our family. So this is safety for me. This is where I feel like I want to send my kids to a school. This is safety. Calling names is not loud. I've never heard them loud. I volunteered at the school. We've never. Thank you.
Your time
I
is over.
appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Next, I have Manuela Abrahamian, followed by Ivy Grigorian.
Good evening. I'm going to be quick. Manuela Abrahamian. I'm a Glendale, long-term Glendale resident. Doesn't mean I'm old, but I've lived here all my life. Currently live in Ross Moines. Previously used to live in West Glendale. And I'm a Shamlian alumni. As someone mentioned, I actually graduated Shamlian when they had a 9th grade. And my son will be soon, in a few months, will be a Shamlian alumni as well. So I chose to send my son. We had a lot of options. We have an only child. So we've considered many schools, and Shamlian was definitely where I wanted him to experience a similar nurturing environment. I want to just primarily focus on some of the comments that, I'm not going to say it upset me, but I was really surprised. I was initially, I have to say, I was a little offended when I was asked to speak today because I thought, why do I need to defend Shamlian? Why do I need to come to the defense of the school or demonstrate its value? I live near Wilson in the Ross Moines area. I have a picture here of extremely congested area. My parents live in that trifecta of the Hoover, Toll, and Mark Keppel schools. And, they've made lots of changes in those areas to accommodate the schools, not the neighbors, the schools. And my mom is a retired teacher from GUSD. But we've learned that schools have to exist in cities. We're in congested cities. There are neighbors. Kids go to those schools. Kids need to go to schools. And those are kind of our beacons of education, as we heard, love, community, hope for the future. And what I'm asking for is respect. Speaking the truth, I've honestly never been to these late night parties, nor been invited to at Shamlian. So I want my neighbors to speak the truth.
Thank you for your time.
And respect and removing what. Hold on, let me read that last note.
Your time
Remove
is over.
that. Yeah, ask for permanent variance. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Next, we have Ivy Grigorian, followed by Lerna Shirinian.
Good evening, commissioners. My name is Ivy Grigorian, and I have a son at Shamlian. He is in 4th grade. Despite my last name being Gregorian, I am actually not Armenian at all. I married an Armenian. Thank you, Ago. I married an Armenian man, and I am raising an Armenian son. I don't speak Armenian. I don't read Armenian. I don't write Armenian. I don't know many Armenian customs or traditions, although, I'm trying to learn. I continue to learn about the culture, but there is really just so much that I don't know and that I cannot teach to my son. My son, living in a English-speaking home, he reads, he writes, he speaks Armenian. He knows Armenian history and religion, and he has an abundant group of Armenian friends who are also the most incredible people, including their families. And all of this is because of Shamlian. If it was not for Shamlian, my Armenian son would not have the same connection to his heritage that he does. And I should mention also, I don't live in Glendale or La Crescenta. I live in Pasadena. So I drive 20 minutes, 25 minutes to and from this school just so that my son can get an education from Shamlian Armenian School. It's not just a school, but it's a community. They foster their students in a warm, nurturing, and safe environment. And safe environment includes parking, drop-off, pickup. You've heard about the various conditions that they use to do that. So I urge you guys tonight, this evening, to grant a permanent variance. If that is off the table, then certainly a conditional one. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Lerna Shirinian, followed by Talia Bogosian.
Good evening. My name is Lerna Shirinian, and I'm a parent at Shamlian Armenian School. We made the decision to enroll our children in Shamlian for a multitude of reasons, among them being the school's comprehensive educational approach, which prioritizes instilling values of community service at an early age. Public service is very important for our family. My husband, who graduated from Shamlian, works for the LA County Sheriff's Department, and I have been working for the state of California for over 15 years. We believe that teaching about civic duty, community service, and meaningful contributions to society empowers children to understand the importance of compassion and responsibility. We are proud that our daughter, who is in first grade, is already learning about these values and is part of a school culture that values community and making a positive impact beyond the classroom. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, I have Talia Bogosian, followed by Leah Stepanian.
Good evening, my name is Talia Bogosian, and I am honored to represent Shamlian's student body as the current student body president. As I prepare to graduate from 8th grade, I will soon bid farewell to Shamlian, an academic institution that has nurtured and shaped me as a scholar and a community member. Over the years, we have been deeply engaged in numerous community events, including Thanksgiving food drives and Christmas toy drives. These initiatives were directly in support of the Glendale police and fire departments, ultimately benefiting our wider community. Academically, we have excelled, achieving victories in the LA County and State Science Fair. This year, we proudly celebrated regional and national champions in the Great History Challenge, and I'm grateful for Shamlian and the City of Glendale for housing this academic institution that is committed to academic excellence and community service. And even though I will no longer be on campus, my heart always remains at Shamlian. Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Bogosian. Next, I have Leah Stepanian, followed by Maria Grigor. Thank you so much. Sorry about that.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Leah Stepanian, and I'm absolutely thrilled to stand before you today as a proud 7th grader of Shamlian Armenian School. I want to take the moment to express my heartfelt gratitude for the unwavering support that Shamlian has provided me throughout my academic journey. From the moment I stepped through its doors, I've been encouraged to pursue my passions and strive for excellence in everything I do. The opportunities that Shamlian has offered me to participate in various competitions and contests have truly been pivotal in helping me shine, one of which has been competing in the 46th annual Teach Democracy mock trial program. This journey has been nothing short of exhilarating. Not only did my team and I make it to the quarterfinals, but I was also honored with the prestigious Los Angeles Teach Democracy 2023 Junior Outstanding Prosecution Attorney Award. It's an experience I'll carry with me for the rest of my life, and I'm so grateful to Shamlian for giving me this opportunity to explore the world of law and advocacy. Moreover, I was also given the opportunity to participate and compete in our school-wide science fair, only to advance as a participant, competing head-to-head with peers in the 74th annual Los Angeles County and Science and Engineering Fair, reaching all the way up to the State of California Science and Engineering Fair. On top of this, I was also nominated for the Thermo Fisher JIC competition, placing me in the top 10 students of 6th, 7th, and 8th graders competing at society-affiliated fairs. None of this would have been possible without the support and encouragement I've received from Shamlian. Not to mention, my teammates and I competed in the Southern Regional STEAM competition called Future City at Woodbury University and won the Best Project Plan Award for designing a sustainable and energy-efficient city built 100 years from now. Not to mention, for the past 7 years, I've had the pleasure of walking to school every morning. Living nearby has only been convenient, but also has added to my overall enjoyment of attending the school. The peaceful stroll to school has become a cherished part of my daily routine, allowing me to start each day on a positive note. Lastly, thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Ms. Tapanian. And last, Maria Gargosian? Thank you. Sorry about mispronouncing.
Good evening. My name is Maria Giralgosian. I'm a parent at Shamlian. I have a 4th grader and a 2nd grader. This year, myself and Ivy Gregorian, who spoke a few minutes ago, we were parent coaches for the school's first ever mock trial competition. And out of hundreds of schools that competed in Los Angeles County, we were 8th for the first time. It is just an example that Shamlian continues to, every year, get better, do more academically, socially, within the community. And I want to take an opportunity to also say that I know one of the comments or some of the comments about the traffic and the issues in the neighborhood, just in the 4 years that my son has been going to Shamlian, there have been many changes implemented at the school to help the situation, from adding the extra lane to adding security guards. There's never a moment where the school and the administration has not taken the improvement and the safety of our students and of the community as their number one priority. So I just want to say that I hope you guys are as impressed as we are and your hearts are as full as ours are watching our students speak to you and be brave enough and incredible at speaking. We're just so proud of them, and thank you for the opportunity to speak before you this evening.
Thank you. That was my last card, but I know we have callers online.
We do. We've got, I think, 11 or 12 callers now.
Okay, let's start.
Building up.
Now it's on you. I don't have anything to read, so I cannot butcher names.
You're right.
2 minutes.
So that's, okay. Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? Yes. Hey. Oh. Yes, it's on now. Thanks. Hi. You're on the air with the Planning Commission. Can you hear me? All right, I'm going to put the first one on hold. Let's see.
Call the name.
Hi, this is Roger Kiesel. You're on the air with the Planning Commission. Can you hear me?
Roger, would you please actually announce their name so they know?
Oh, sure. Miss Ohanjanian, you're on the air. Can you hear us? Okay, I'm going to put this one on hold again. Ms. Kadikian? Ms. Kadikian, you're on the air.
Hi. Can you hear me?
We can, thanks. You've got 2 minutes.
Good evening, Commission members. My name is Isabella Kadikian, and I am calling today in support of Shamlian Armenian School, and I urge you to approve the extension of the use variance to allow the continued operation of the school. What I want you to know is how special Shamlian School is to me, and my belief that it enhances the name and reputation of our jewel city of Glendale. I graduated from Shamlian in 2019 after 7 wonderful years at the school, which I consider my second home. Based on the solid educational and social foundation I received from Shamlian, I continue to higher education and am currently in my freshman year at the California Institute of Technology in Pasadena. Shamlian instilled in me the values of educational excellence, social responsibility, my deeply rooted Armenian heritage, innovation, and integrity. These core values are imparted on all their students, who by large majority are Glendale residents, and who will become productive citizens and leaders in our city. My years at Shamlian are filled with countless memories, but by far the biggest lasting impression for me was during my participation in the 2019 Los Angeles County Science Fair, when Shamlian received several awards and various accolades, including placing first, second, and honorable mentions in several categories. Given its student body size, this was an immensely impressive achievement and a proud moment for us all. I owe much to Chamelon in encouraging a young girl like me to pursue my fascination with science. I believe Chamelon is becoming a feeder school to amazing universities such as mine and many others that my fellow alumni are currently attending. Its stature in academics is rising, and it is beginning to receive the recognition it rightfully deserves as a premier elementary and middle school in Glendale. I urge the commission members to continue their support as they have before and approve the requested variance. I am certain Chamelon will continue to make Glendale proud. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Miss Nairi. Miss Nairi, you're on the air? Miss Nairi? Miss Ohanjani, and you're on the air. Good evening, Mr. Yavranian, you're on the air?
Yes, hi.
Hi, you've got 2 minutes to speak.
Okay, thanks. Hi, my name is Robert Yavruvian. I'm a longtime Glendale resident and currently a physician at Glendale Adventist Hospital. I currently have 2 daughters who are students of Chamelon, and I myself am a alumnus of the school. Chamelon's been immensely important in shaping my character. It's been a vital part of my family and of our community. As a matter of fact, it was the main reason why my wife and I decided to move back to Glendale after my medical training so our kids can attend the same school that I was fortunate enough to attend. So my call is in support of the school and for approval of the use variance. Thanks a lot, and I yield my time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Roger, before you take the call, are commissioners having a hard time hearing the comments?
We're trying.
Okay.
We're trying to. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Garcia, you're on the air with the Planning Commission. Can you hear me? Mr. Garcia? Mr. Shekerdemian, you're on the air with the Planning Commission. Can you hear me?
Hi, yes. Can you hear me?
We can. Actually, much better than the other callers. You've got 2 minutes.
Great. Hi, my name is Sean Shekerdemian. I'm also a former student of Chamelon, now a parent, but more importantly, also a neighbor of the community, being brought up and raised a couple of houses down from Chamelon. And I just wanted to offer a separate or a different perspective than what was shared earlier. It's perplexing to me to hear the comments about late night noises or disturbances to the community as someone who grew up in that community and still have my parents live in the house that I walked to and from Chamelon, spending many of nights having dinner and weekends at my parents' house. I've never, ever come across any issues with such inconveniences. In fact, my father passed away peacefully at that home after having suffered from cancer for many years, preferring that home over many of the other places that he came to visit us. As a physician in my training, I hopped around town, the city and the country a lot, and this is in fact the quietest neighborhood that he had experienced in that time. And I would also add, I am myself am a physician as well, a trauma surgeon that has obligations to report to the hospital within 30 minutes. But having my kids at Chamelon, as well as in other schools before, and an extended family where I've been able to pick up and drop off nieces and nephews, there's no other school where I can comfortably pick up or drop off kids as Chamelon. Every other school gives me extreme anxiety being stuck in the traffic and road hazards and conditions and thinking about what to do if I get stuck being paged for a trauma. And so it's perplexing to me that there are these concerns or the exaggerations of these concerns. And because of that, I also advocate for the continued acceptance of the variance and also undoing this need to renew it every several years. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Manukian, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Great. You've got 2 minutes to speak with the Planning Commission.
Hi, my name is Oshin Manukian. I'm a musician, classically trained cellist. I'm calling in from New York City, where I'm a graduate student at the Juilliard School. I'm from Glendale originally, and I was a student at Chamelyan 10 years ago. I was there for 7th and 8th grade, and I graduated in 2014. I just wanted to call in today and express how important Chamelyan was in my life. The way I see it, this is not only a wonderful academic institution, but also an important cultural institution. I myself was a child of immigrants. My parents came from Armenia. And during the process of assimilating in a new country, what often happens, as many of us know, is that the culture we come from can gradually fade away over time and get lost. And Chamelyan is one of the very few schools dedicated to preserving that culture through the teaching of Armenian language, history, among other things. I myself learned how to read and write in Armenian when I was at Chamelyan. And during my time there, I was also able to develop a strong command of the language. And because of Chamelyan, now the language is something that I can pass on to my children one day. And for me, that is priceless. I'm so grateful to the school and to my dear teachers who, by the way, I still keep in touch with after all these years. Anyway, thank you so much for your time, and I hope that Chamelyan can continue to operate and keep doing what they've been doing so admirably for all these years. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Kutmoyan, you're on the air with the Planning Commission. Can you hear me?
Yes, hello. Could you hear me?
Yep. You have 2 minutes to speak. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Sean Kutnuyan. I graduated from Chamelyan in 2019, and I'm now a freshman at Stanford studying economics. I wanted to spend a couple minutes sharing a few of my experiences from Chamelyan over the years. First, I'd like to say the curriculum of both the core classes and the electives prepared me well and taught me the tools I needed to succeed in high schools and beyond. And I think this is reflective of the fact that we currently have 5 Chamelyan alumni at Stanford. My biggest takeaway from my experience, though, was how vested all my teachers were in my development. They always took time to meet with me and handed out supplemental readings about topics I was interested in. I know that this one-on-one tutelage is what kept me particularly engaged and wanting to learn more. Second, I'd say that the community aspect was definitely a big part of my experience. I always felt welcomed, and it truly did become a second home for me. And to this day, I still keep in touch with my friends, administrators, and teachers from Chamelyan. It also helped shape my identity and through connecting with my history, culture, and heritage. And I think this is an invaluable asset for all Armenians in the diaspora to continue to have access to. Third, I'd like to add that Chamelyan has consistently instilled values of giving back and contributing to the community throughout our lives. And since we've left Chamelyan, I know that me and my friends have continued to use these same principles and serve the communities where we are a part of, wherever they may be. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Mr. Nareg, you're on the air with the Planning Commission. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep. You have 2 minutes. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Hello, my name is Narek Simityan, and I'm a proud alumni of Chamelyan Armenian School. Today, I just wanted to stand before you to share my personal journey and the profound impact that Chamelyan has had on shaping who I am today. So I first started attending Chamelyan in 1st grade, and I went all the way to my graduation in 8th grade. Through those years, Chamelyan has provided me with more than just an education. It's instilled in me a strong sense of community and a deep appreciation for my Armenian heritage. The school's nurturing environment fostered a family-like atmosphere where students feel supported and encouraged to reach their full potential. One of my most pivotal experiences that stands out is my capstone trip to Armenia, which occurred in 8th grade. This transformative journey not only connected me to my roots, but also instilled in me the importance of community and the value of giving back, which is a core principle of Chamelyan. Chamelyan equipped me with a solid foundation that has enabled me to thrive academically and professionally. As a current student at Berkeley, I attribute much of my success to that education and the values instilled in me at Chamelyan. Moreover, I'm proud to say that Chamelyan has consistently produced graduates who excel in top-tier institutions. Myself, alongside my peers who have gone on to prestigious universities,
like Stanford and alumni who have been accepted into renowned law schools like Harvard and Columbia are a testament to the quality of the education that Chamelyan provides. And additionally, it's essential to acknowledge the visionary founder of Chamelyan Armenian School, Vahan Chamelyan. His dedication to education stems from his profound understanding of the value it provides for opportunity and success. To limit Chamelyan's growth would not only be a disservice to his legacy, but also a contradiction to the fundamental tenets upon which this country was founded. We must honor his vision by ensuring that Chamelyan continues to thrive and provide opportunities for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Tona Pipian, you're on the air.
Yes, hi, Roger.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep, you have 2 minutes to speak. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Hello, everybody on the commission board and everybody who's there and able to be there. I wanted to start by saying we heard everyone, and I think it is wonderful to have a community that is able to gather for such important things. Everybody started off with giving their background, so I think that's important in this case somehow. So we are a family of immigrants. We live on Lowell Avenue. I have 2 very successful children. I have a daughter who's a CPA. I have another daughter who has an MBA from UCLA, went to Harvard, and got her PhD at UCLA as well. Education in our family is critical and very, very important. And I myself am a physician. My husband is a businessman. And business aside, we take education to be one of the key factors in every household. One of the things I wanted to talk about is how everybody who was there speaking for Chamelyan School was speaking in regards to how important respect and community are to them, how they are a pillar of the community. They fail to see how detrimental they are to our community. As people who live in that community, we get no respect from any of the school administrators. We get no respect from the parents who walk in the middle of the street, jump out from behind cars. I mean, I don't literally mean they jump, but you're driving and there's a parent with a child walking across the street where there is no refuge to walk by. The refuge was built and that was already detrimental, and now they want to build another one. On top of that, there's a comment or a suggestion to put a person in charge to deal with the community and listen to our complaints. I don't think that's a moot point in general. I don't think that's going to help, because when we speak to even the principal or anybody else, they literally ignore us. So even if they know what the issues are, they aren't going to hear us out or do anything about it. I believe
All right,
that it would be...
Thank you. Your 2 minutes are up. Thank you.
Great, thanks.
She spoke twice. She was here in person. Miss Anna, you're on the line with the Planning Commission. Can you speak with me? Or can you hear me?
Hi, I can hear you.
Great. You have 2 minutes. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Anna. I am a resident of the community. I've been on the line for 2.5 hours hearing everyone and their comments, the opposition, pro and against Chamelyan. I've heard everything. And I think what the commissioner needs to understand and see in the community is that something needs to change in how the traffic works, how they block the driveways, how they yell names. People cannot rest. And when I speak about traffic, I speak about traffic during school hours and special events. There is more and more special events every year. Right now, if I don't exaggerate, we have at least one a month. That means during the evenings, our driveways are blocked, or the cars are double parked, or when they pick up, it's very, very bad. Something does need to change in that perspective. The school, they said they have around 700 children. I think they have a lot more. And now I saw that they've been expanding into a preschool. That means they're going to have more and more. I think this should not be a permanent thing. If you're even going to approve this, I don't think it should be permanent. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Eric, you're on the air with the Planning Commission. Can you hear me?
Hi, can you hear me?
We can barely hear you. Can you?
Is that better?
No, it's pretty faint. Are you talking into a speaker? Or are you?
Is this better?
No.
There's static in the background.
Yeah, there's static in the background.
There's static? Is this better? I'm speaking straight to my phone.
Are you on a speaker?
No, it's held up to my ear.
Okay. Well, you've got 2 minutes to talk.
I have a recommend. If you're close to your computer and you're watching yourself, walk away from your computer. And there's a delay of a few seconds. That might fix the issue. That's better.
Is it all? Can you guys come back to me?
You can try calling back. Do we have any other callers?
I'm just going to cycle back to the people that didn't answer. Yeah.
Eric, why don't you hang up and try calling back again? There are about 5 people online, so we'll wait for your call back.
Hello.
Thank you.
Thanks. Ms. Nairi, you're on the air with the Planning Commission. Can you hear me? Hello? Miss Ohanjanian, you're on the air with the Planning Commission. Can you hear me? Hello? Miss Serene, you're on the air with the Planning Commission. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great. You have 2 minutes to speak.
Okay, so my name is Serene Kasparian, and as a parent, I want to thank the neighbors who spoke in opposition of the CUP this evening because it will make me even more considerate of the neighbors. I also want to apologize on behalf of any parent who has cut off or blocked a neighbor's driveway. We as parents are not perfect, but the closest thing to perfect is Chamelon as a school. This CUP adds extreme pressure, time, and resources on the school, which can be allocated to academic advancement and more community service. So in good faith, please vote in favor of Chamelon. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Ani, you're on the air with the Planning Commission. Can you hear me? Hello? Mr. Garcia, you're on the air with the Planning Commission. Can you hear me? Hello? Mr. Eric, you're back on the air with the Planning Commission.
Yes, can you hear me now? Is this better?
Much better.
It's slightly better, yeah.
All right, great.
You've got 2 minutes. Thanks.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Eric Markarian, and I'm a proud 2018 graduate of Chamelon and a current sophomore at Stanford University studying bioengineering. Chamelon has provided me with an extremely nurturing environment where I not only received an excellent education, but also learned the importance of my Armenian heritage and culture. As someone now pursuing a career in medicine, Chamelon prepared me extremely well for my STEM courses in high school and now at Stanford. My experience as the president of the ASA at Stanford was directly influenced by the cultural pride and sense of community that Chamelon instilled in me from a young age. It was at Chamelon where I learned the importance of preserving our Armenian culture and history. As ASA president, I was able to share this cultural richness with my non-Armenian peers in college, whether it's advocating for Armenian language courses, Armenian Genocide Recognition Week, or promoting awareness about our history and culture. These initiatives would not be possible without the strong foundation and sense of identity that Chamelon provided me. Having graduated from Chamelon about 6 years ago now, I'm still extremely close with the peers I graduated with and the 5 Chamelon classmates who are with me in college now. Our mutual identity as Chamelon alumni has helped us maintain our culture and strong bonds despite being 400 miles away from Glendale. In light of its pivotal role in shaping the academic and cultural development of its students, I truly urge you to approve of Chamelon's permit, ensuring that the future generations, including my kids in the future, have the same opportunities for growth and success that I did. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that concludes all our callers.
Thank you, staff.
Sure.
All right, thank you.
There is a Glendale Police Department employee in the audience. If you have any questions, regarding traffic or operation in what they've observed.
Okay, and I assume they don't need to fill out a card. We can just ask them to answer it. Okay, sounds good. Before doing that,
Okay.
do we have a caller?
Sorry,
we haven't closed public hearing, so we can take that call.
No, I need to repeat what I said because my mic wasn't on. Sorry. So we do have a member of the Glendale Police Department here. Should you all have any questions on traffic or the operation of pickup and drop off from their perspective?
Okay. So there are two things that needs to be done. We will have to call our applicant back for questions, and we will also then question our police officer. I think I might want to actually question our police officer first, because I want to hear their perspective, and that way we can address the questions to Mr. Khan. Would you please step forward? Thank you, sir. Hello.
Good evening, Honorable Commissioners. My name is Tigran Topajikian. I'm the lieutenant in charge of our traffic bureau. I've been employed with the department for 27 years.
Thanks for being here today and being available for questions. Do commissioners have questions from Lieutenant, I'm sorry, sir, Tigran. What was your last name?
Just call me Tigran. It's
Okay. Thank you, Lieutenant. Any questions from the lieutenant? Please go ahead.
Just a quick question. Are there any traffic incidents or calls or reports that you will consider to be unusual?
Unusual, no. Our department has responded to the area. Specifically, I'm in charge of our traffic bureau, which is parking and motorcycle officers. Our motorcycle officers did go out there and do an assessment based on complaints from the community. Some of the complaints existed, parking in the red zone. Not parking, I'm sorry, stopping in the red zone. They were limited in time because there was a driver behind it, and as the line moved on, the vehicles moved on. The officers were very complimentary in their feedback back to me, and this is going back from February, not something that just immediately happened, about the school's efforts. They were there in uniform and on a police motorcycle, so you're generally going to get more compliance with the high visibility. A few days ago, I personally drove out there in an unmarked car, not in uniform, and I got out and I walked and I remained in the area for about an hour. Generally, I did see minor violations of vehicles, stopping in the red, but they did move on because the line moved on. I did observe 4 or 5 employees employed by the schools spread from the school and south into the neighborhood and managing the intersections and directly communicating with the drivers to move them up and move traffic along. Some of the jaywalking concerns, are no longer concerns because the state has removed the jaywalking laws off the books. And so, crossing in a business district, like the jaywalking terminology has been removed from the laws, and so the police department has no authority to enforce. If it's egregious and somebody runs in front of a vehicle, those are the exceptions. I did also get informed from our officers that they did drive the neighborhoods, the side streets that are impacted, and there were minor violations, smaller in nature. But this type of complaint is very common where schools are co-located within the residential areas. They gave me gray hair because I have to, respond to a lot of the complaints, but that's what the police department does. We respond, we assess. There's times that we will issue traffic citations. There's times that we will issue warnings based on discretions. And sometimes, the residents nor the school will see an officer there because if we were to pull a car over and block a lane of travel, that would just further compound. And so sometimes they will follow away and whether issue a warning or a traffic citation. But generally, that was my observation and assessment, that they did provide the extra staffing that I do not see at any other schools. But it is a very common problem where the community members and the residents are frustrated, with the drop-off and pickup. And it's usually a shorter scope and time. They bottleneck because you have to have hundreds of people showing up at one place to drop off in a very, very small amount of space that, we don't have the luxury of spreading it out over time and distance. That's been my professional and independent observation, as well as the observation of the officers that have responded specifically to the complaints around this school and the neighborhood there.
Thank you.
Sure.
You answered my question because I wanted to ask how other schools in the city, are kind of dealing with this, which you were very graciously kind of went there. So it sounds like this is just an issue that we have in any residential area where we have a school present. Okay.
Unfortunately, there's no really way around it because children need to get to school. Parents need to drop them off. The schools need to be good stakeholders. The community needs to be good stakeholders. But it is a very, very common complaint spread out amongst the 30-something schools in the city. And we don't have the staffing. We rotate the officers from school to school to school when we're available to be at the school and not handling emergency calls for service or collisions, to address and be present to help alleviate, some of these concerns. They do write citations, they do give warnings, and we do communicate, with the schools with recommendations. And for the most part, I think, we have a very good working relationship with the community and the schools, and we try to, do the best we can given the resources that we have.
Thank you, Lieutenant. I think there's a question.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your service first. I feel like sometimes Glendale traffic laws are only suggestions. People don't follow the laws. But having said that, you've been there and you observed the traffic. Do you have any recommendation that the school can use your help to make it easier and less congested?
Well, what was interesting to see is the double line now going to the schools, and the officers had commented that has helped alleviate a condition that previously existed. It did not completely go away. I think the visibility with the staff that's on scene and directly communicating with the drivers is helpful, because I did observe them moving them along, when it was a red zone or they were inching up and closing the gap, within the driveway. The security staff on scene was directly communicating and asking the drivers to move along. So I think that constant communication, reminders, and citations occasionally, are, issued, and that's in hope of changing behavior, not to generate, revenue. I do think that there just needs to be constant activity as far as staff being there to help the traffic, move along within that drop-off and pickup area. And, Mr. Manassi, I think we write about 1,000 citations a month, related specifically to violations. That doesn't include the warnings that are given. I'm not talking just at the school, but, generally in Glendale. That's kind of what we average as far as our citation statistics.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Lieutenant, and thanks for your service, and thanks for being here and answering our questions.
All right, have a good evening.
Have a good evening. Thank you. Mr. Khan, you're up next, and you have, it's time for you to kind of rebuttal everything that you've heard, and we'll let you do that, and then if there are any questions still left from the commissioners, we'll go and address those.
Certainly. And once again, Rodney Khan, I've been warned by city staff to talk quick, so I'll heed their warning. I just want to start off by saying I've worked with Chambleon Armenian School a little less than 20 years. And it's an absolute honor, and I love working with them because they're such strong supporters that can come out. And Commissioner Tarachian, you said it's nice to see a full room. We actually limited the number of people that were going to come out this evening because at some point you guys need to deliberate on this because it would go very late. I'll try to address a few of the comments in my time. We are limited to 700 children. We do not have more than 700 children. So the comment was made, they have more than that. We do not have more than that. One of the things that we thought, or I thought would be very productive, and I thought Mr. Bagdanian showed that, is there is traffic in an area. We're not trying to act like pick up and drop off is perfect. We're doing a great job, but it can always be improved. You have, 95% of the parents can follow it. The 5% that don't, causes problems. So we think this mid-block crossing that was suggested, that potentially could be an additional condition, is going to be very, very productive to allow Shamlian to have both sides of Lowell used. It's challenging living near a school. It is. And whether it's Shamlian or a public school or a private school, it's very challenging. I represent other schools in our community, and I hear the same things. This is not anything new. It's the same types of things as you just heard from the officer. The best you can do is try to alleviate it, get out in front of it, and address comments or concerns when you hear them, and I think that's what Shamlian is doing. I disagree with the person that said that if you have a resource officer or a person assigned to contact, if there's an issue, whether it be via email or phone, I think that is productive. And I think that condition that's been suggested by city staff is something that we should implement, not look at not implementing. There's discussion about property across the street. Property across the street has nothing to do with Shamlian. It's not part of the Shamlian Armenian School. It's not an expansion of the school. It's not anything to do with the Shamlian Armenian School. I'm not sure how strong I can say that, other than the Shamlian Armenian School is exactly the geographic location it is, the exact square footage it is, the exact classrooms it is, and as I mentioned in my opening remarks, we're not expanding the school. We're not increasing the numbers. We're not changing the classrooms. We're not building more classrooms. It's exactly what you guys had approved 10 years ago. I'll go back to my ask when we started. You said, Madam Chair, you said, tell us the comments or the conditions that you'd like to see modified. One is the addition of the mid-block crossing. The other is to say, by doing that, that's one way further to alleviate traffic so that we don't end up with a condition where we're required to provide a bus that's not being used, that's very expensive. It just doesn't make sense. We continue with the van or the shuttle, which makes sense, but not a bus that predominantly is very expensive and doesn't get used much at all. And then the last item is the term. And I want to say that again, the term. We've been under terms for a number of years now. This isn't our first 10-year term. We had terms when we did the gymnasium. We had terms when we did the expansion. I see other properties in the city that are also applying for use variances that have no terms. They have no terms. And you start asking yourself, why is this with a school that's this passionate, that has done so well over the years, why do we continue to get term limits on our approvals? Well, I would ask you guys, please approve this, and to approve it with no term limits, like many other use variances have already been approved in our city. That concludes my remarks. If you have any further questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thanks, Mr. Khan. Any questions? No?
Mine is more like a question but clarification. First, I'm very impressed with my neighborhood and the community that came tonight. I live in Boston. I'm from Boston. I go down Boston and I come back up Lowell. So I'm very familiar with the place and very familiar with the case. As far as events, I know there's a condition or two conditions that limit events to only school-related events or activities. And there is also a time limit of 10 o'clock in the evening. I wanted to make sure that that's clear and that's still being adhered by the school. So.
The answer, I'm turning towards them, and the answer is yes, it is.
Okay. And as far as no change, there's no change on the operation, no expansion, no site changes. enrollment still remains the same.
It's the same as was previously approved 10 years ago.
Okay. And last, as far as time limit, I know that we have approved use variances without time limit. And one of the reasons, I must have heard this case when I was still the zoning administrator. One of the reasons we imposed a time limit is to give the community a chance to come back every 10 years or so and express what's happening or let us know what's happening in the neighborhood or in the area, or if there are any violations of the conditions. But I think the community also needs to know, even if this is approved without time limit, they have a recourse of requesting for a revocation. And that can be done through the administration or the Office of Planning and Zoning Administration. So I just want to make that very clear, because some people think when there's no time limit, it's going to be there forever, and they are shut down. So I want them to know there is a revocation process, and they can always come, talk to staff, and discuss about violations or things happening on site that are not within the conditions of approval. So I just want to make that very clear.
Thank you for doing that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for that. I do have a question, and this is to clarify the questions we had about the shuttle and the buses, because we would have to vote on that. So, two questions. Let's first talk about the meat block crossing. So my understanding is that that currently is not part of the conditions, and it's something that the school is proposing.
That's correct.
I mean, and you said you've spoken with the city engineer, but we haven't seen any communication from it. But if there's something that you can share with us, so we know what the city engineer has said, and if you don't have that, when we're addressing staff, we can of course address them. But it'd be great to hear that.
So, Madam Chair, actually, our traffic engineer, John Bagdanian, spoke with the city's traffic engineer, and they had some Zoom calls and phone calls to discuss this prior to us coming here this evening. So I don't know, Jono, if you wanted to speak to that.
Thank you.
Yes, I did have the same, I presented the same concept design to Mr. Pastor Casanova. He's the city traffic engineer, and he thought it's a good idea. Obviously, there's a lot of traffic engineering details we have to follow.
Yes.
So if this condition is imposed on the project, we will proceed to put together a design, run it by him for his approval, and then we can proceed to implementation at that point.
Thank you. And usually, I'm just curious to know, would this be something that the school would be funding, the project?
Well,
Or is it
the
gonna
school,
be
I'm sure, can fund parts of it. There's a lot of other infrastructure improvements that is done that technically could be part of the city's budget in terms of signage, median, striping, and things like that. So that's something we can discuss with again, in the interest of time, since it's not a condition yet, we couldn't get into that level of detail, but there's certainly opportunities there from Safe Route to School programs, from other bikeway plans and things like that.
That's actually where I was going to say,
there's some
there are
fun-
grants out there that could be
there are
applied
some
for.
grants out there. It's just a matter of being able to allocate the funds and then go. We may have to do it in a step-by-step increase.
Okay, thank you for that. Appreciate it. My next question was the van and shuttle. So the van and shuttle, so we heard about the bus. So is the van and shuttle basically, they're providing the same service, but it's just a smaller version? Did I understand that correctly?
I think the shuttle actually goes further than the bus.
Okay.
Like it would go out to, if there was students in outlying areas, they could shuttle them in. In terms of the shuttle is much more flexible and easier and smaller, whereas the bus, it was just one location. They go, they pick up, and then they come back to the school. The other thing about the bus too is the bus actually impacted the traffic in a negative way. So the bus would come up and then it'd park, and then all of a sudden there was problems with where the bus parked, the kids getting out, the parents with their cars, things like that. So not only were we paying for something that people weren't using, we're paying for something to cause us even more traffic problems. So it just didn't make sense, and it doesn't make sense.
Thank you for that. Any other questions? One question. Go on.
I'm sorry.
Please go on.
At the very beginning of your presentation, did you mention something about the incentive to parents to do a carpool?
Yeah, I did. It's good you remember that. That was a few hours ago. So right now, there was an incentive for parents to carpool, and I think staff pointed out it was supposed to be $50. We were offering $40, and then staff had a recommendation for $75. So what we thought was, okay, that's fine. We'll go with the increase. And for a school that's a nonprofit and that's not charging an arm and a leg to go there, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot. So if it went to $75, what we also thought is if you even increase that more, so if you have to have two families, it can't be me bringing my two sons there and I say, oh, you know what, we're carpooling. It has to be two different families. But if you got a third family, then you give that incentive even higher. Maybe it's $100. Because all of a sudden now you're starting to see real traffic trips come down. And from a perspective of the school, well, if we're able to save some money on this bus, then we could certainly start allocating it towards that.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Khan. With that, the public comment period is closed, and we can address the staff. Are there any questions from staff? Questions? Nope. Any questions from staff? No questions? You guys are, yeah. Okay, I do want to, before, well, technically public comment is closed, but I want to mention something. It was interesting. For the first time, we had a caller from New York. I think that is a pretty cool, yeah, a pretty cool caller we had. I don't think we've ever had, a caller that far out. And I also want to thank the young generation for caring about the city. I mentioned it earlier. It's great to see that. And continue doing it. Don't do it just, I understand this is, your school and you're passionate about it. City of Glendale has a lot of great things that are coming up. Get involved, message Roger. He can put you in contact with Trissa. And it'll be great for you guys to put comments. It's great to hear from you guys because what they're doing now is what's going to happen in 30 years in a city. So how the city is going to grow. And it's going to be for you guys. And if you're still in Glendale and live around here. So give your comments. It'll be great to hear from you guys. Then thanks for being here today. I know it's school night. So with that, public comment is closed, and we are going to deliberate. So I'm all ears, guys.
I'm happy to start it off. Thank you, Madam Chair. Also want to echo the Madam Chair's comments. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy schedules and showing how passionate you are for our city and for the various causes. I also want to briefly just speak to our students and the youth that came. Take it as someone that joined governance from a young age. I encourage all of you to get involved and do whatever you can to give back to the city. It's very important to speak for and have passion for causes that are important to you. So I encourage all of you to continue doing what you're doing. I was very impressed with how respectfully, how articulate everyone spoke, and the manner in which you all carried yourselves. So it gave me a lot of pride as someone that joined the Planning Commission also at a young age. So I look forward to hopefully seeing you guys around more, and hopefully you guys could get involved and help the city out down the line. So thank you very much for that. So a lot was said in this meeting, and we kind of, I don't want to say off topic, but there was a lot of comments that kind of swayed off topic in terms of what's actually being asked and presented in front of us here as a planning commission. Essentially, our role is to see if this meets the findings of approving of this variance, of which there are 4 conditions. And then there are the various conditions of approval that are included after those 4 conditions are met. So I'm briefly just going to go through them. I don't want to take up too much time, but I think it's important to just kind of set it straight for the record. The first condition being that the strict application of the provisions of this ordinance would result in practical difficulties or unnecessary hardship inconsistent with the purposes and intent of the ordinance. That finding is relatively easy to find here. This is zoned R1. Obviously, you can't have a school operate in an R1 zone, so it's pretty easy to make that finding as to why a variance would be necessary. The next finding is regarding exceptional circumstances or conditions applicable to the property involved or to the intended use or development of the property that do not apply generally to other property in the same zone or neighborhood. Again, this is a very unique property. It's a very large property for being zoned R1. There aren't similar uses in the surrounding area, so again, this finding in the variance is easy for us to find and meet. Next is the granting of the variance will not be materially detrimental to the public welfare or injurious to the property or improvements in such zone or neighborhood in which the property is located. The school has been running in this property for 50 years. A school has been there for 60 years. Clearly, that hasn't been detrimental to the community or to the safety in the area, and I think the added guards and the security that the school has enhances safety, if anything. So that's another finding that's easily met. Lastly, the granting of the variance will not be contrary to the objectives of the ordinance. Again, the objectives of the ordinance and for variances in general are for these specific cases that may be unique and may have particular challenges. And in this case, obviously, not granting it would pose challenges. So I just want to make clear that those 4 findings for continuing the variance are pretty easily found. I just want to briefly touch on some of the conditions that are being included within our decision here. Number 1 being that school enrollment is limited to a maximum of 700 students, that the grades taught should be limited to transitional kindergarten through 8th grade only, that the board of directors and principals shall institute an incentive-based carpooling ride-sharing program. In my staff report, I still have at least $50 a month per family. I think Mr. Khan's notion of kind of a tiered system where the third family would get an added benefit is a smart way to structure it, where it's not too cumbersome on the school, but still would encourage people to kind of take the next step. The point person designation, I think, is very important, and I would say to whoever that point person becomes, to be very patient with our community members, because their needs are obviously very important as well, and we want to do whatever we can, reasonably speaking, to make sure that they're also heard and taken care of. A few other ones. There shall be no expansion of facilities or enrollment without reconsideration of the variance and its condition by reapplication. There was a lot stated about the events. Commissioner Fuentes made a great point in bringing that up earlier, but here it's limited to back-to-back school nights for parents, open house events, graduation programs, 2 to 3 holiday programs annually, sporting events, and 2 to 3 fundraising events. They can't continue beyond 10 p.m. I think that's a very reasonable ask. I would be inclined regarding the bus and shuttle difference to broaden our condition and just say that as long as the school has a shuttle or bus, and leave it up to the school to kind of determine which one is most suitable and getting most usage. Personally, I would be comfortable in making that change. Here it also states that the school should use its best efforts to implement other programs, including but not limited to walking to school events aimed at decreasing traffic and parking impacts. I think that's also very important to uphold. And then lastly, we have the term and also the added mid-block crossing. So first on the crossing, we can handle this in a few different ways. I think my personal opinion would be it would be great to include it as a condition for the school to reasonably approach a design effort with the city to see if this is something that would be of use and actually help alleviate the traffic in the area. But I personally don't think it's necessary to formally designate it having to happen, but I think additional research on the field would be useful. In terms of the actual term being 10 years, I think Commissioner Fuentes noted the revocation rights. I think that's very important to note here. I think it is pretty cumbersome upon the school to have to come back to our body every 10 years. And personally, I would be happy to either extend it to a longer duration or make it indefinite, depending on what my fellow commissioners are willing to do here. So that concludes my remarks. Thank you all again for your time.
Thank you for the very thorough explanation. That I think was very helpful. Commissioners,
I don't have anything to say.
nothing to say, Commissioner?
I agree with everything he said. No, I agree with everything he said, and I'm also leaning towards not having a time limit. And I've explained that there is a revocation process that's available to everyone or anyone or the community. And again, I'm going to say I'm very impressed. We have a very close-knit neighborhood. And the support, I wanted to go to Champion School now. And, I think I agree with Commissioner Esteban.
With that, do we have a motion? But before
Madam
you
Chair?
make the, yes.
Sorry, I just wanted to, and members of the commission, I just wanted to ask for a little bit of clarification on condition 7, and that was the incentive, and so an added incentive. Is the reference to an increase to $75 and a requirement that the carpool be of 2 families, as was suggested by Mr. Khan, or an incentive of $100 if it's the third family? Is that the intention?
Well, I think there was also confusion because in the presentation it stated that it was 75, but in our report it's 50. So I guess first of all to staff, is the suggestion 75? We
Yeah,
can
the
start there.
suggestion is 75. I apologize. I think the discussion in the staff report ended up being inconsistent with the actual condition. So.
Okay, so we'll go with 75.
And that's what I was going to say. I think before we actually have a motion, we should clarify. So I think the number one would be that if that's what you're proposing, if you're doing a tiered version, and kind of talk it with Ms. Van Muren, so she can.
Yes, and it would be, so it would be $100 for the third family as part of the incentive program. Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Do we need to discuss the other conditions too?
So I think you're kind of making a motion, so yes, that'll be great. So I think the tiered approach is what we're agreeing on that. The second thing that you mentioned that is not here is the mid-block crossing. So if you want to, kind of, because staff would have to write that out because it's not in there. So if you want to, start the discussion so we can kind of see where it's going, so we can vote on that as well. So your recommendation was, and I'll let you.
Sure. So thank you, Madam Chair. I'm willing to make a motion with a few amendments and additions to the conditions of approval. First of which being what we just discussed, an incentive being offered of $75 a month per family, and that incentive being increased to $100 a month per family if there's 3 families carpooling. The next one being, excuse me here, I believe number 22 regarding the bus and shuttle service. My suggestion to staff would be for it to read a shuttle service or bus, so the school isn't mandated to do both or one and not the other. In terms of the actual duration, I'm in favor of making it indefinite. And then lastly, regarding the mid-block crossing, I don't think it should be formally required as a condition of approval, but I think the school should go through their reasonable due diligence with the city to determine if that's something that would be suitable to the traffic needs of the area and surrounding residents. And with those conditions and edits, I'm willing to move for approval.
And I'll second it.
So we have a motion and a second. Before we do a vote, did we get everything? Roger?
You know what? That's a good thought. Let me go over
Okay.
the conditions.
Be clear before we
Right.
do a vote. Thank you.
Yes.
There was a suggestion by staff that the morning drop-off sort of
30 minutes.
Well, it was just more the procedures and what happened be documented. Is that something you're interested in? Because
I think that was one of the, conditions already.
It is?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
I haven't
Let me
gone-
see, let me make
gone
sure
there
I
yet.
saw it. But
Because there was the
20,
pickup condition.
oh, I see.
It's number 8, I think, so the minimum of 30 minutes
Yeah,
between
number
first
8.
student start times.
Oh, what I meant more, to more fully spell that out in terms of, where the crossing guards are, or where the security guards are, the cones in Lowell, the Lowell Street, and sort of the procedures that they follow for drop-off.
I don't, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say, I think the way they're doing it right now is okay.
Right.
And
I
they
don't know
have
that
their
there's anything that
groups.
compels them to continue
Right,
doing that.
Spread out.
Yeah.
We don't
Aside
have
from
to
this
be- yeah.
condition about start and end times.
Yeah, we don't want to be so specific that they cannot move it around or adjust it as needed.
Sure.
So I'll just stay with whatever we have here.
Okay.
And this is okay with me.
Okay. Let me
Roger,
just-
was your concern about, because this is drop-off. Sorry, this is a drop-off. Was your concern about pickup? Is that what you were mentioning?
No, kind of related. Condition number 5 explains how afternoon pickup works. There really is no condition as to how morning drop-off works. And so that's what I was suggesting to sort of spell out. Condition number 8 is actually references both drop-off and pickup in that what they are supposed to do and what we want them to continue to do is have a 30-minute gap at least between first start time and last start time, and first end time and last end time, so that the traffic theoretically is flatter.
Yeah.
So condition number 8 has to do both with morning drop-off and pickup.
Okay,
Sounds good.
I think it works.
I think it's fine with condition 8, and I think condition 5 is pretty straightforward, and I don't think you need the index card and the second portion of that for drop-off. I mean, I think they're using the walkie-talkie system for, I don't even think you would necessarily need that for the drop-off. So I'm inclined to just approve it how I laid out with what's in our staff report, and I think
Sure.
that's sufficient for what we have here.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Let me just go on for a second. Condition number 9, point person or an email is fine?
That stays correct.
Okay.
Unless, I'm so sorry, you're making the motion. I should.
I think how it's worded is fine. I don't have an issue with that. On the record, I'll say strong preference of it being a person, not just a generic email, but I'm fine with how it reads in our report.
Okay. I think that was it. Do you have any more clarification? Okay, that was it, yeah.
Got it?
Okay, well, we have the motion in the second, so do we just vote at this
Can you
point?
please, can we have the roll call?
Yes. Okay, a motion was made to approve the project with conditions. This will be a roll call. Commission Member Tarachian,
Yes.
Commission Member Fuentes,
Yes.
Commission Member Manassian,
Yes.
Chair Shabazian.
Yes,
Great, motion carries 4-0.
thank you.
They have no limit.
Clarification motion with the changes.
I'm sorry? Yeah.
Changes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes. All right, with that, next item, no, we have one more item on the agenda, Community Development Department updates. Do you guys have any updates for us?
No, we don't.
Don't, then.
Do we have any item for the next meeting yet?
Offhand, if you give me 2 minutes, I will check.
Well, while you check, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Adjourn.
Have a good night.
That's great. I know in the past, a challenge has always been you train people up and then they kind of disperse and they lose their skills. And so the key is getting, neighborhoods to kind of work